Capitao. From what little I've watched just tonight, a lot of teams are not really playing Ace. They're not banning him, they're not playing him, and no, that's interesting. Montaigne comes out, considering the way the meta works out nowadays, it's very hard to fit Montaigne on in. This is probably a Wamai. Nope, Mira. Okay, this is weirder and weirder. I think like this has to be Wamai, right?
Well, Mai could be a factor. Now, Mira, this is probably her best map. She's incredibly oppressive in this map, and she turns, well, all of Piano into no man's land. But another operator that you're talking about, well, Mai also does that. But no, it's going to be the pseudo Echo. It is now a Valkyrie.
No.
She is sent out of here, and it's going to be the other bane of Rainbow Six Siege, the utility consumption simulator. An absolute full effect. You want ADSs, you want Wamai pancakes. Well, here you go. Bog standard cafe. Let's send it.
Yeah. Oh, there's one. There's Malusi and Maestro. Oh, there it is. No Jaeger showing it, though, by Minnesota just yet. I would assume the alibi is going to get swapped off in favor of the German. Whoa, okay. I like that, though.
I mean, I'm perplexed at this point, Cherish. Like, no Jaeger. Wamai is in play, and according to the Ubisoft devs, Wamai is a pseudo or a replacement for Jaeger. So apparently, the members of Minnesota agree with that ideology, and they're going to be bringing him out as such. Now, as you were also highlighting, we currently see Oryx in play, and well, he's one of the newer additions to the competitive pool, but he hasn't really seen a lot of love because he doesn't bring a lot of utility. Now, in theory, you can basically turn all of U-Bar as well as in a B1 and B2 to the current little tiny baby bars right in front of your screen as you just basically bull charge into them. So that's an opportunity that you have with Oryx, but probably not the most sensible thing. He's probably going to be somewhere on the first floor trying to rain hell.
Yeah, I am very interested to see where Shield is going to be playing this Oryx. You could very well there's nothing being brought by UCI outside of the IQ that makes me say that they're going to go for a cocktail side take where you pressure out through reading room and push in through the cocktail side and the windows as well. This is also a big thing with Oryx is that he just makes destructibility so easy on this bar. So that's very nice to see at the least. But yeah, I don't know. You can kind of defend from below, but not very many teams are going to be attacking from the cocktail side. It's not a very common attack. They all want to work out this Wamai rather than just kind of say, hey, you set up and wasted your utility over here, so we're just going to attack the other side of the map. I don't know. At least UCI has enough utility in the Ashe, Zofia, and Sledge all together to help deny this shield and punish it. But I mean, they're working fairly quick enough at the least to get to him. But I am worried it might not be fast enough.
And the thing is, we have seen some of those cocktail executes. Now, it's been a while. That was back when Buck still had his frag grenades. But the problem with those executes was still the fact that you had to deal with the fatal funnel of the white stairs. And UCI, they're going to be very sensible with their execute, doing a very traditional, grandiose take through Piano and slowly pushing the members of Minnesota deeper and deeper into the backside of their bomb site. Now, some vertical pressure does work both ways, and Sledge is going to be working his way over to reading room, and he's now going to be relying on those frag grenades, pulling the pin and sending them true. trying to destroy somebody over here on the east side of the map. A grenade's going to go up. Nobody anywhere near that zip code. Bad use of utility, and time still in favor of Minnesota, but it can continue to work its way down as Heartbreach starts to open up more avenues for the attackers.
Yeah, 45 seconds to go, and we haven't seen an engagement yet. The Oryx is also back on site, so it does seem that whatever little roaming he had done, he's going to just be used mostly for that bar destruction. But now UCI doesn't really have that much ground taken over. The default plant spot is reinforced over and not destroyed. Instead, UCI opted in for the breach on the freezer wall. But 2 frags come in, one from Ryder and one from Altair. Another from Uwu as well, as UCI is crumbling with this attack. Diffuser's down in no man's land. Chelly and Wind have to do what they can with 5 seconds to go, but with no info. They're not going to be able to land a single shot. Practically a flawless round for Minnesota here, as the only surviving member of the IQ was just downstairs, not really covering much. And all in all, that it looked good for Minnesota that they took out the shield before a minute and a half left in the round, and then they kind of didn't do that much with it.
I'm glad you started to highlight on the execute onto Pixel, right? UCI did everything right. They broke down the Pixel hold almost instantaneously. There was no utility whatsoever from the defense on the other side of the map. Why? Well, that's because Jaeger wasn't a factor. And the Wamai Pancakes just couldn't keep up because he only had 3 in total, given the amount of time that had eclipsed throughout the round. The attackers got map control, and as soon as they had the real estate in their name, they're like, oh my god, I now own part of the map of Cafe. What on earth do I do? And well, they just sat there, forcing the defenders to push those angles and get aggressive. But most defender rosters are just going to play Father Time. They're going to sit back and force the attackers to work their way on through. I like the adaptation of utilizing that vertical destruction with the frag grenades. However, they had the right idea. It just wasn't executed in the appropriate manner.
So downstairs we head as UCI is going to try and get themselves mentally on board with this one. No interesting operator choices. I guess I'd say it's interesting that Thermite is chosen in place of Ace. But, I mean, again, like I was saying, like, a lot of teams in Collegiate, from what I've seen today, are just not preferring the newest attacker allowed in. There's a lot of safety brought by Ace, and generally just everything feels better about him. You have smokes in place of flashbangs. You have more breaching capabilities than Thermite, even though his are larger breaches. And you have a much better gun in the AK-12 compared to the 5.56. It's just very interesting that a lot of teams, in at least, because I know you and I are familiar with T3 competition, everyone there practically has adopted Ace into the lineups all but religiously. And it just feels very interesting that, you know, UCI has consistently brought Thermite. It wasn't detrimental to them last round, really, I'd say. But I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess, because I don't know where Shield just died.
Oh, far too aggressive. Jaeger's going to find himself relegated to a nice and easy 6-foot grave. He's going to have to tuck himself in at least temporarily. Now, you're highlighting Thermite. He can still find some use that is only really if there's an active bandit tricking and you need that wall to be opened up very quickly. Sherm's going to find one, make that two. It's going to be 2 headshots lining up perfectly for him. UCI already starting to crumble, making far too many mistakes, and the +1 man advantage is now going to go a +1 advantage for the roster of Minnesota, but UCI still has some control. What the problem is, that is fake control, because currently we're going to see more players work their way down those white stairs. That is scrubs relegated to that position for the time being. Clock is going to continue to dwindle its way on down. Crossfires established for Minnesota. They're just waiting on the pounce from UCI to work its way on through. There's a pounce. Oof is going to get a kill of his own, making the second, unable to land the third, as the Alta's going to start to chime in all chat. And now it's a lone roamer forced to crash back onto the bomb site, as there's so little time left for that bomb to be put on the deck. It's confirmed to go into a post plant, guaranteed 41 seconds.
Yeah, Hannah Ning right now just waiting patiently with this M45. Both players watching the same angle, so they do know that Scrubs is just waiting here, but Scrubs is going to win his first gunfight. Somehow dodge out from the fire of the Ash. Allison slowly working their way now to the window of the freezer, going to find the head and take down the Legion in their attempt, at least, to make the clutch work. They did come close, nailing it to that one-on-one, but overly cautious play does not work out in the end. And it does go, the scoreline does go 1-1 at least, which feels good for UCI, despite the almost awful situation, frankly, that Scrubs put them in initially with the two-piece up top, or rather on the second floor. But past that, I mean, the entire rest of the round was all for UCI.
And the problem was for UCI, we've been talking about this throughout this series, is the fact that attackers have to do their due diligence. They have to be setting up flank drones, because if you don't, well, there's going to be somebody walking up behind you and shutting you on down. Scrub is going to be laughing his way all the way to the bank with those 2 free kills. But Minnesota really wasn't able to capitalize much on that, because UCI was basically able to steamroll their way into the bomb site. And this is the same fallacy that we saw in our first series of the evening. Defenders being far too passive and just letting the attackers bulldoze and set the pace of the round. A really common thing is the attacking roster that is able to set the pace is the attacking roster that wins. And the same thing can be said on the other end of the stick for the defenders. If a defending side of the team is able to set the pace, which means slowing down the attacking lineup, they're more likely to win. So we're going to have to see basically Minnesota either double or triple down on the offsite presence, or really set up a macro strategy, holding VIP with an extension and deployable shield, or holding Big Bakery with an extension and deployable shield.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. I know I've personally seen a lot of drop-off from the front Bakery hold with the shield, but there's no shield play from Minnesota. They just had my round 1, they're not even considering bringing him in place. They've brought a bandit, interestingly enough. Typically, out of this lineup, I'd say lately you don't really bring Kaid, maybe the Malusi. It's very team dependent, but a lot of teams are often opting into shield strats just because that's the name of the meta. The bandit is going to be found running around upstairs, and Kane finds 2 shots now, or 2 frags rather, nailing some more shots, taking down Shield with a nice flick back as he was dropping off of the AC unit. And this round to start, taking out the 2 roamers here from Minnesota, UCI is in a much better position for themselves.
A temporary advantage for the attackers of UCI, but what will happen in the long run? UCI has made some mistakes through the long runs of their game, and if those mistakes continue to snowball, they might sacrifice round number 3 to all the way up to Lord Tachanka. But the defense still has plenty of micro positioning strategies up their sleeve. It is going to be that extension into Big Bakery, or at least a pseudo roam over there, and if the attackers haven't put any drones in that vicinity, it's going to be a free show stop for them. You're highlighting active CollegiateR6 for the time being. There it goes. One CollegiateR6 is going to land its mark true, and there goes another one downrange. There's no attacker from vertical pressure to shut that on down. That's going to be a wasted hard breach utility, almost instantaneously sacrificed for free. Mistakes like that are things that you cannot be making at this level.
Yeah, it is annoying. At that point, the Ace versus Thermite argument doesn't matter, but the Ashe is gonna find Altair. It's just really up to the Maestro at this point, alongside the Kaid. That Kaid is going to find one kill at the least, but the Alda is going to get to work in just a moment. 10 seconds to go with a plant needing to come down. There's no smoke coverage. There's very little flashbangs, very little just general coverage, and the Alda is ripping away. No, actually, UCI is able to get the final 2 frags, as I don't really know what happened there. Both defenders decided they wanted to push up despite having superior angles. Like, UCI had to push into Minnesota there, and the Alda pushed forward. I'm a little confused by that.
Some players understand that the Alda goes burr, but some players are also, well, they just love holding W and shift at the same time and leaving their cover positions. And especially with a giant LMG, sit back, relax, crack open a beer, and allow the attackers to push into you as you're highlighting, because you have time on your side. Now, sure, the attackers can basically plant in default behind the bomb chassis, but hopefully the defenders have set up a contingency plan for that and have opened up small murder holes so they can actively contest that. And I don't think Minnesota did that, which is why they left their hidey holes. They left their safe bunker positions and actively challenged UCI. And right now, UCI seems to be the mechanically better team as they're winning the majority of their 1v1 exchanges.
We'll get to see if Minnesota is able to bring it back at the least. They've got their whole lineup brought back once more here, pulling together the Oryx once again. Like I said before, it's very interesting the way that Shield has been playing this operator. They kind of just use it as creating holes in the bar, and then they don't play it as like there's just no rotation play from the Oryx. There's no mind games almost that he could be absolutely anywhere. He can rotate up through these couple of hatches. At the same time, there's not much hatch play on Cafe. There's the kitchen hatch, and then the 2 up here, right? That's it that you can jump through at least.
That is correct. As well, you also have the piano hatch as well. But so 2 hatches in total, at least actually inside the building. And Shield Rat Strat, you would think he would read his own name and be able to orchestrate a strategy around that. Oh Lord, the AUG A2 is gonna come knocking, and he's gonna be knocking walls on down as Oofkane is gonna show a little bit too much of his body, trying to basically participate actively in utility consumption simulator. A lot of very strong utility sacrificed to the grave early on, and UCI once again is going to be struggling with dealing with Pixel, and then struggling with dealing with actually executing all the way into bar.
Yep, that's going to cause a lot more problems. At least the shield has been destroyed by now, but still, this is looking pretty tough for UCI. You're down an operator, and when you have to consider Malusi Banshees as well as Maestro Bubbles and all the various utility that Wamai still has, like the various discs, he just charged up his final 1 in this past second. It's very tough to have to lose your Zofia and play around that. So with this last minute, UCI is really going to have to turn on the afterburners, as the Wamai is so very close to the sledge. Wind is actually going to be able to fall away now, but no damage comes in from either operator. And again, like Chelly on this IQ is not really a null factor downstairs. Wind is going to be found by Scrubs is another shot from the out. Okay, the round's over.
Well, sometimes you swing for the fences and you hit home runs, and the Alda does that perfectly. As 4 members of UCI have to learn that the hard way, they get shut down by a myriad of bullets from all sorts of angles. UCI, once again, far too passive on their piano execute. They understand that they need to break down the pixel spot. And sure, that is the first step as an IGL. The next step is identifying the operator behind the shield, calling for the utility, and then actually going for the execute. Going for the execute is where their macro strategy starts to fall, simply because they're putting players in terrible positions. Micro positioning is a free way to get a kill or be killed. And sadly for Oof Kane, he learned that principle the hard way, being on the receiving end of those bullets. And then after that, it seemed like UCI was perplexed. They had no avenues to push in, even though their thermite charges went off. Far too passive, cost players their lives, thus costing them the round.
So, with that being said, well, it seemed like on the two what do you call them? On the 2 kitchen attacks, it seemed like UCI, especially on their second one on round 3, it did seem like UCI was doing a bit better with their tempo is the word I'll use for it. Just the speed they went at with their attacks, it was looking a lot better for them. So hopefully they will show that same tempo in these next couple of rounds. They know very well that they can beat Minnesota's defense here. And to me, it's very interesting that Minnesota doesn't even try reading fireplace or mining dining, which is just the mining room and fireplace hall is mining dining. I think a few other casters and I nicknamed, I think CDAPS came up with reading and feeding is the fast nickname for reading fireplace. Just because I remember there was like one day I was just like, I really love the name mining dining, but no one plays it. I want a nickname for reading fireplace. And we just like sat on like in between rounds. We were just like, all right, screw like actual analysis. What is a name for this? And we eventually found reading and feeding is what we managed to get. And currently, hiding away in reading is our friend the bandit, and he's not looking like he's going to have a fun time.
Or you can be a troglodyte like myself and call it gears or engine. That's also another option you have, but I do really like reading and feeding. I'm going to have to steal that from you this time. Hopefully it's not trademarked, but at least for the time being, we're going to basically convert that into one of those chiefisms. That's where we're going to go with the time being. But Bandit, as well as compadre on the other side of the German lineup, is going to be flirting with death and destruction for Shield Radford. And now Scrub's going to flirt it the hard way, as he's going to be dishing out 2 kills of his own, unable to stop this offside pressure. Finally, the G8 goes burr. That's going to be the majority of the offside pressure now in favor of UCI. That is a big hurdle that they've now crossed. But the problem is, they're still going to have to utilize vertical destruction. And your 2 primary soft breachers have been completely relegated. Now, fortunately for them, though, you still have that sledgehammer up, alive, and active. But with 60 seconds left, that sledgehammer is going to have to start to find impacts in that floor instantaneously. And fortunately for them as well, Thermite is alive and active as he opens up Meat Locker.
Yeah, it's very interesting that UCI is so dedicated to this locker push, and or rather this. Yeah, I think it is. Meat Locker's a good call for it. Um, they're just so dedicated to this freezer locker push, and it's so interesting to me because very few teams focus here. They rather prefer the Positional advantage, because you don't have to swing out blindly, not sure what you're looking at or where you're looking if you take the front side bakery. And considering that Minnesota wasn't contesting it, it's very interesting. Once again, the Aldo's going to go Burr and find almost two. Now Chelly will fall as well to Uwu. It's just up to Wind, and this attack will falter this time through. Minnesota takes a second round in a row, securing at least a 3-3 half for themselves, which is not too bad on Cafe nowadays. And yeah, that just, I don't know. It feels so lackluster to keep attacking the freezer time and again and have to kind of suicide push out and just hinge yourself on betting hinge yourself on winning gunfights every time.
Now, I'd be okay with the meat locker execute if and only if there's a player pushing either from Java, Whiskey Bar, or just setting up a crossfire in general. Imagine if you threw your Ash sneaky beaky like all the way from Big Bakery and try to come from underneath. The problem with that strategy, though, was Ash was shut down early on, but you still had equal man count. It is absolutely imperative that you set up a crossfire in some regards, because if you don't, you're going to have three members holding the exact same angle, walking out from the exact same angle, and that is just a recipe for the fatal funnel. The Alda has to do nothing other than holding mouse one and getting free kills. Now, Cherish, look what bomb site we're going to. It is reading and feeding, and we're going to have to see how this tertiary bomb site actually pays out for the attackers of UCI. Are they going to be able to take that vertical pressure, work their way down? Because if we've taken what we've learned from Bar as well from Kitchen, UCI seems to be really afraid of utilizing that vertical pressure. And when they do, they don't put the sledgehammer in the appropriate place. So it's going to be really on Minnesota to abuse those points if they want to be successful in round 6.
Yeah, I wonder if also Minnesota is going to be opting into the same vertical pressure that we see from a lot of teams. I can't really tell. It only really looks like they're pulling some roam play upstairs. So who knows how that's going to work out once more. There is not a single shield. There is very little C4 play. Yeah, there's just no real dedicated upstairs presence or setup the same way that we see with a lot of default strategies. It's kind of just sending Scrubs and Shield to their deaths, but Scrubs is going to be the leading. I don't know where I was going with that. He's just going to find the first frag here onto Kane, but at least Allison will free frag right back, making their way all the way into Train here, finding a frag on a player on cams. That was Ryder, I believe, on cams. As another nice headshot comes out for Allison, taking down the hot hand of Scrubs before they can get up to double digits. And with a minute and a half to go, the second half of this round, UCI once again is in a good spot for themselves.
This is another one of those rounds where you have to blink and then think twice about what on earth is going on. Unique rotation holes being made by those impact grenades of the team of Minnesota. This is to create lines of sights as well as the rotation potential. Now, most rosters tend to actually use an M590 or another shotgun to make little featsy type holes so you can shut down the attackers working their way on through, because most attacking lamps aren't going to be proning through those angles, where these holes can now work both ways for the team. That's going to be whatever team is able to abuse those angles and abuse their ability to win gunfights is going to be successful with those holes. Thermite can open up the reading room, and that's going to force even more members of UMN into very awkward positions, but it's not going to matter. Shield's going to go for the wide swing. He's going to be successful in that engagement and back to equal man count.
Yeah, it's all even now. At least you lost your Thermite after they did their job. But still, that is a lost player. As Allison's going to find 3. Altair's going to come swinging out and shut down the Ash at the least. Now it's just up to Chelly and Wind with 15 seconds to go. Again, a very late execute is coming out. The Malusi will fall, but not before downing Chelly. It's just up to Uwu, waiting patiently inside of the laundry room, pushing out. He's able to win out his gunfight into the sledge. not able to deal any damage, I think, to the Kaid here. And despite it looking a little rough, Minnesota is able to pull out a 2-4 a half, or a 4-2 half, my bad, and really look good for themselves coming into this second half.
4-2 splits, very common here on Cafe, but what will UCI be able to do over on defense? This map is notorious for being defender-sided, especially if you given the fact that we're currently in utility consumption simulator, where it just seems to get worse and worse with more operators joining the Team Rainbow side, especially with Malusi in play. But UCI is bringing out a strategy that seems to be a little bit more sensible. You have Jaeger in play, you have Wamai, and you also have the introduction of Pulse, who is going to be playing either over in Gears, maybe downstairs in Train, utilizing his wall hack ability to send a Nitrocell up and true right into the waiting feet of the attackers.
Yeah, it's nice to see a Pulse come into play from UCI, as it is pretty standard to see the Pulse coming out. Not to mention the general stall and shield play from UCI is pretty normal on mining dining take, or on a defense rather, not take. So it'll probably be looking pretty similar to a lot of reading fireplace defenses, but also pretty differently. You're going to be holding your Wamai aggressively in pixel again. You're going to be playing a little bit up in piano, because that is a large focal point for the attack, because it does kind of sit itself over a main point of the site. Fireplace is very often kind of disregarded by a lot of teams, just because breaching that east wall near White Stairs doesn't offer you that much. It's very tough to get into that room in general to properly attack. So it's kind of just been, despite the site being in Fireplace, it kind of is mining and Train. And with piano situated over top Train is basically the entire room, it's such a big focus for Minnesota here to go for that, as they have brought out our first ace at least. So hopefully, maybe their attacks will be a bit. I don't think the ace makes attacks really all that much faster than a thermite on Cafe. But we'll see how Minnesota wants to work around with the newest hard breacher.
The thing with aces, it allows you to open up walls from a safe distance. Now, Allison's positioning might be shut down. The top hatch isn't opened up. She can be filled for free. There's no rotation potential whatsoever, but she's going to find a kill of her own, but her teammates can be shut down from across the map, and now Allison is stuck in 180 crossfire of her own. There's no hope for her rotating away, and Minnesota is going to punish their unbridled aggression, and that's going to put UCI just a little bit on the back foot. But Pulse can have an answer back to that. He is going to be actively hunting, utilizing his cardiac sensor to the best of his ability, providing as much information as possible. But the problem is IQ's in play, and that's going to be providing information back and forth. But look at the utility coming by Minnesota. They're blowing things up over here on the reading room side. It's almost like they've been bamboozled, assuming it's going to be a reading feeding take instead of mining and dining.
Yeah, it's pretty confusing from Minnesota that they're focused rather on that side of the map and not over top Train, and they really don't think that this is mining dining. But besides that, at least Shelly will fall as well. So despite the weird take from UCI or from Minnesota, it's working out in their favor. They're pushing forward now into dining now, that fireplace hall. But Kane from the flank is going to find one onto Ryder. The plant has at least come down from Uwu. It's Wind on very little HP, trying to find what they can. The IQ will also fall to Kane, doing massive work with this mute. Now the Ace is getting into a big gunfight and is going to win out their gunfight against, or is rather the Nomad winning out against the Pulse. Now Kane stuck in a 1-on-2, having to do everything, gonna come, not finding the Nomad, no, able to down Altair, has to jump over, but the Ace prone under the breaches is going to salvage the round post. Plant almost single-handedly clutched up there by the mute, but not quite enough, just not enough info on site. And I don't think Valkyrie would have played that big of a role, but it still kind of, in a way, has to be said that, like, hey, maybe if they had Valkyrie, like, it would offer some meager assistance. But at the end of the day, that was a very, very solid, but still a little odd take from Minnesota.
I mean, everything about that round was atypical. Starting off on the quaternary bomb side, the attackers almost perplexed, but they were still able to win it, identifying that, hey, wait a minute, the bomb isn't anywhere near reading room. I think I hear it beeping on the other side of the map. Let me quickly go check. And then eventually figuring out where it was and how to execute. But the attackers of Minnesota were making plenty of mistakes. We currently saw Mute sitting all the way over in reading room for the entire time. No drones dealing with out whatsoever. He ended up getting a kill with his shotgun and almost won the entire round. That one oversight was UCI's saving grace, but in the end, it completely fell. Well, we're going to be seeing the second floor bonanza for UCI. They seem to really like this floor, or maybe they're just very hungry, trying to hang out in the dining room, as it's going to be feeding and meeting for our tertiary bomb site rearing its ugly head here on round 8.
Yeah, it's interesting that UCI is not opting into what a lot of teams. So from what I've gathered, it's very split right now. Some teams will consider that Bar Cocktail is just not that great of a site anymore. It's very easily attacked when, at least when Wamai is banned. Wamai is up right now, so it makes it a little different. But regardless, it's pretty tough to attack, or pretty solid to attack right now for whatever reason that I can't figure out. But generally, a lot of teams will consider kitchen service to be a very solid second, if not first site. And like I was saying, though, it's just so interesting that UCI is so heavily focused, like you had put, on this second floor. And they're really just, they are hell-bent to make these two sites work. And right now, Minnesota is slowly working their way to pressure out Cocktail correctly here, just causing UCI to be as uncomfortable as possible with this window play.
The thing is, most teams are really not good at pushing these east windows. It really puts your body in a terrible position, and you never want to expose it to all the bullets in the world. It seems to be the tango of death over here, as it's a battle as old as time. Jaeger versus Ash, and they're going to trade outright as Ash is going to kill an Allison. Chevy's going to get the refrag with the SMG-11. Back to equal man count as the lobby continues to blunder its way on through. Shield's going to miss the majority of his bullets. Unable to confirm Wamai's location upstairs is going to be his undoing. The rappel on through to heaven. That's going to dish it down. Basically, everybody in the attacking team is playing far too aggressively, sacrificing their members for no reason. But finally, it took them far too many bodies, but they have control of the third floor.
Yeah, it is the 2-on-3 now as a result. So maybe UCI's very aggressive stance on this site, and their hold on this site worked out in their favor, very much so, because there's no real upstairs control from Minnesota. They don't have that much breach open up. Now the Ace is going to get to work on a soft wall, pushing forward and slowly working his way even further and further. But again, there's just not enough time. These attacks are coming out so slowly from these teams. I'm not sure what. Okay. The plant is coming down in front of Wind. Wind's looking for the knife. He's choking on the gas. The plant has come down, and it is a 1-on-2 in favor of Minnesota now, or rather in favor of, yeah. Okay. I couldn't cast for a second because my brain kind of shut down at what was happening.
Discombobulation, recombobulation. Oh my lord, I've had the words ripped straight out of my vocal cords. It's the blunder of the century for both of these rosters, but Minnesota is somehow able to win it on out. Perplexing is the word for that round. Oh my lord, Cherish, what on earth happened? How on earth did Ace push through the smoke grenade? Honestly,
you are asking me a question that I do not know the answer to. I don't know how that round ended up.
I'm asking the question to the void because that round was something else. My lord, we hear about teams making mistakes all the time. I haven't seen two rosters at the exact same time make the exact same mistake. Perplexing is the word that's going to be, but it's a new round, it's a new day, and sure, it is currently match point not in favor of UCI, but they had a good hold. They were able to waste a lot of time. It went all the way down to the dying seconds of the round, but in the end, a miraculous play to say the least. We're going to have to chalk that up to a full send YOLO.
I just... That was a round. That was an end to a round. I am a little still in shock from that. And 100% that's bound to be, frankly, mentally demoralizing for UCI to be so in control of a round and then to lose it in such bizarre fashion as they did. So they're gonna opt back into this attack, or rather this defense of Reading and Fireplace, as a Blackbeard this time comes out for Shield. Now he's playing more in his name's favor, but I don't think Blackbeard has really a place in this meta, especially on Cafe when Wamai is up. I don't know why you don't shoot that disc, but considering that they are already having problems with vertical pressure, you really could have assistance with a sledge or even a buck if that's what you prefer. But they're just not opting into it, and it's in its place. It's a Blackbeard for a player who has not been doing so hot on the fragging. An entirely frag focused operator is a little weird to me.
Now, sure, you can make the argument for it if we're on Coast, for example, where you can just say, I have a strategy. I'm just going to throw it into the void. Who needs a strategy when you can collect heads? And now we've also seen some Amaroos work out on this map for the full send YOLO pushes, and that seems to be how Minnesota likes to play, so maybe that's how they're going to continuously play on through. Smoke's going to throw his head, and it's going to be a huge blood in this lobby. Scrub's going to work his way on through, finding even more kills. The Myriad of Death is going to continue to work its way on through. That's far too many flashbangs. A milky white screen of goodness. That's going to be the last thing that Hannah's ever going to see here. And what could be the very last round, as it's only two members of UCI are left alive and breathing. Now, fortunately for them, they have 100% HP, but the floor above them is currently being removed.
Yeah, it is 2-on-4 in the I don't know where that sentence is going all of a sudden. Plant is almost coming down from Shield here as he's back behind that bookcase that has become default Plant. Kane is going to look for a swing and then he's going to find one. Okay, now it's a 1-on-1 effectively here. Wind up against Ryder. Ryder's on half health. His shield is downed. I believe they're going to be revived, but a fantastic plant position here for Wind as they can deny the plant from above. This breach specifically could work wonders. Is always going to find the head of the Blackbeard, and from above, Wind with a huge 1-versus-2 clutch to keep UCI in this matchup here and stall out potentially their defeat for another round, but try and work their way closer to that OT just to give themselves back a fighting chance.
I was hoping we'd see Gears once again rear its ugly head, but sadly, the quaternary bomb site is going to stay in the rubbish bin for the time being, no longer a factor because we're going to be going over to Kitchen, what most rosters consider their secondary or even a primary bomb site, depending on how you want to play it. But how will they elect to hold it? We see one set of shields, which means it's probably not going to be an extension over into VIP. It definitely won't be an extension over to Big Bakery. And that's actually something we were talking about earlier. A lot of rosters were really eager at doing that extension into Big Bakery. The problem is most attacking teams don't want to push Big Bakery until the dying seconds of the round because they want to take vertical destruction. Now, sure, Pro League teams like SSG and DZ has done very linear takes where they do a full and utter utility jump all on the west side and bulldoze their way into Big Bakery. But the thing with that macro strategy is it requires picture perfect communication. And if you don't have that, you're most likely not going to succeed on that execute in the long run.
So we'll get to see which way Minnesota is going to opt into this attack. Again, there's no real front bakery play, I think, from the defense. UCI is not opting into at least a shield up here. I do wonder at the least where Kane is going to opt into putting his, because normally we do see that one go into prep. It does seem like he's put it further back into the sites, which is a little odd. But regardless, it's so interesting that Wamai is up. So he's up on Cafe, which is alongside Oregon, definitely his two strongest maps, I would say. And he's just not being played consistently. It feels so weird because a lot of other tiers of teams will almost entirely play Wamai like he's Jaeger and give him a near 100% play rate in these maps. So it's also a roam strat from UCI here, very interestingly, and they're going to abandon it very early on at the slightest bit of pressure. Not even going to consider challenging these operators that were pushing in from Minnesota in the Ash and the IQ.
Now, temporarily control for the attackers as they do have the floor above the defenders. But what are they going to be able to translate that into? That's going to be the big question. And well, there's plenty of time on the board. Vertical destruction should be rolling on through. But as you were highlighting, where on earth is that vertical destruction? Minnesota has no answer back whatsoever. And Cherish, it looks like I see an elephant skin currently over by Whiskey Bar, the T5 of Wind. That vile concoction is going to bless and burn the viewer's eyes so we can never spectate that T5 wielder ever again. The top hatch over in feeding is going to get opened up. This is going to be a nice avenue to work on through. But Hannah's going to be holding this tight with a very narrow pixel.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it is this shield strat. That's where Kane went with it. So this is a very frustrating strat for the defense or for the attack to deal with if they don't opt into it very early enough. But you could also just attack the front bakery and not have to punish it at all. But now I guess we're going for a freezer drop here. Is Ubu's going to look for the first one, but it's instead Scrubs to find Wind. 4v5 now as the Ash is slowly making their way into Whiskey here, pressuring forward. Kane is getting a bit anxious, but it's 5 seconds to go. The plant is down, or rather denied, as a flurry of kills come in from the freezer. Allison doing what they can alongside Scrubs, but the round is lost for UNM or UMN as, again, the dedication to these freezer drop attacks is so crazy because there's you see the dedication, you would drone out the dedication that UCI put in with the smoke shield in VIP. So why not just shift to the front side where there's no pressure coming out.
Well, that's a potential strategy, but it seems like both these rosters are just kind of making oversights throughout their attack and defense phase. They have the right idea. They understand where to push. They're just making far too many mistakes in the longevity. Now, I do have to say, I really like the extension into VIP. It's something that we've seen both at the T1 level trickling itself all the way down to T3. And that's another position that requires a lot of coordination to make that execute. You have to do a full utility dump and then blow up that deployable shield and hope the player that is actively playing that shield elects to not wide swing you and absolutely punish you. And that was the thing. That shield was never dealt with. The hot drop into Meat Locker came through, and it was the burial ground for everybody on the side of Minnesota.
So we'll get to see if Minnesota can make it work on this round. A lot of their round wins on this attack have come down to weird circumstances, very clutch focused, and in general, not just UMNs but UCIs as well. A lot of these rounds are just generally very clutch focused and very confusing how they end up. But UCI is pulling out very, very common strategies, and I really like that they are opting into this. It does show that they are familiar with Cafe as they're pulling out what has become more of a modern strategy in at least the double shield. At times, we've seen it even the triple shield. You'll see potentially Goyo or maybe an Alibi or a Warden picked up for their shield. You could even, if the Valkyrie was up, you would even see a Valkyrie bring a shield in place of her Nitro. And one of these walls gets blasted out in the bathroom in place of a shield. And it's just that extra layer of destruction that is needed for the attack to focus on. And just that extra bit of presence that they would have to deal with. So I'm really interested to see how Minnesota wants to opt into dealing with this second shield in Freezer, because it's probably something that they don't often see.
That is a good point to make. Now, what are the attackers going to do? None of them have even entered in the building. The majority of them are still outside of the window repels. Something we were talking about in our first series of the evening was you have to have boots on the ground in the first 40 seconds of the round, because it honestly takes 30 seconds to even get to the roof to begin with. But the attackers are just far too slow. Ace is going to be trying to open another part of the wall, but he's going to think better about that because of the mute jammer. Oof, Kane's going to find the kill. He might be fully flashed, but all you need to do is hold mouse 1, let pain and destruction riddle the opponents on the receiving end of your gun barrel. Kane's going to think better about his life, rotate all the way over to Ginny Box. But that box wasn't being covered from Ginny, I should say, and that's going to be a huge blunder. And speaking of blunders, currently look at the amount of time on the clock. That's going to be a full sin if the attackers want to be successful.
Yeah, 40 seconds to go, slowly working their way in, as not sure what just destroyed the Smoke's shield, but Shield himself will find Kane as a result. I think I don't even know what destroyed it. It looked like an impact of some sort, as Chelly is going to even things out, finding Uwu here on the ace. Now in comes Altair swinging forward. He's gonna come in with the air jab in the chamber, but at least the plant will start coming down. Chelly's going to swing out. His shield finds one, but Hannah is at least going to refrag. The final bullet in Chelly's spray is going to find the head of Ryder planting. And again, a very close round by miracle, it seems like. UCI is going to bring us to 6-5.
Wow, it seems like the defenders are going to be winning the majority of these rounds, but who is surprised really by that? We talked about how defender sided Cafe is, and it's going to continuously work its way on through. Minnesota looked pretty strong on their first 2 rounds of attack. That was probably because they're attacking onto, well, mining and dining first, followed up by reading and feeding. And well, I love that strategy. It's working out well. And well, lo and behold, we're going back over to reading room, fireplace, or reading feeding for the time being. The attackers do have to still do their due diligence, taking vertical pressure, working their way on down, but still getting as many kills as possible. And maybe we'll see some more kills from Blackbeard because shield rat strategies tends to really love shields.
So back to reading fireplace for the third time today for UCI. And again, the Blackbeard is out for shield. Interestingly, as again, I don't know. It would work wonders to have something that it has destructibility, I think, to deal with the Wamai alongside the Jaeger. I would think. I mean, it's the 12th round. Maverick is unbanned, and we have yet to see him once. And a lot of teams really prioritize him just because players have gotten very skilled with Maverick at this point to be able to very quickly burn away wall segments with very little risk to themselves. And I'm just interested that neither team focused on the operator. I'm interested that UCI didn't focus at all on Ace, as now the defense has pulled out a pulse once again onto Wind, so looking to get an early pick in their favor at the least. But otherwise, everything is just going to be quiet once again, and potentially a very slow attack until the Nitro from said pulse is going to at least find Uwu downed. But in return, Altair is going to find Allison and start things off well for UMN.
Well, speak of the devil, he shall appear as the pulse finds a kill. Chevy's going to go just a little bit too aggressive, yeet himself out a window, meet an air jab head on, and he's going to be blown into oblivion. The onside pressure over by Cocktail is going to work wonders for the time being, as Hannah's going to get a kill of her own, but shield rat strategy and say, no more kills for you, bringing us back over to a 2v4. Now, the thing is, UCI has technically full HP advantage compared to basically the 200 HP collectively brought out across the three members of the attacking lineup. 200 HP is probably generous. It's probably closer to 150 HP, and that can work out brilliantly for the defenders of UCI. They just have to have the appropriate amount of information. Unfortunately for them, Pulse is still on the board, and that shotgun SMG-11 bro combination has to work out perfectly. Lots of contingency factors. UCI still slightly in the back foot, but they can still follow full YOLO send.
Well, the saving grace right now for UCI is that Shield is on half and Altair is on 1 health. That nice SMG-11 will chew absolutely, but in return, oh my gosh, Altair is going to find his third of the round. Scrubs is going to be looking for the plant, but he might be denied any moment by Wind. Wind's pushing forward, but no, it will be Scrubs to secure the map for Minnesota here. Map 1 will go 7-5 over UCI, and that is a interesting end, considering that I would have thought the map ended at like 7-3.
That's a good point. Well, Minnesota's going to be able to win, not their map pick. That was UCI's map pick. So that is a good standing for them to be in as we move over to Clubhouse, our secondary map. But please don't go anywhere. We're going to be diving into a quick 5 to 10 minute break. So we'll be back with you momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CR6.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CR6. It is currently
the Midwest versus the Californians. Who will be victorious? Right now, it is currently the Midwest up 1 in this series. But what will happen over here on Clubhouse?
Yeah, it's the ban phase can really make or break Clubhouse, I think. We're going to see a Maverick dropped off, interestingly, because there's very little Maverick play. And by little, I mean none at all in 12 rounds on Cafe. But this will probably be a Thatcher ban as well, which means Clubhouse will probably be the standard Clubhouse that we see, the very fun 4-2 split. No, it's in place in Ace. So that's nice to see, I think. I don't think that detracts anything, though, from the 4-2. Though I would prefer, I think, a Thatcher ban in place of an Ace, just because Thatcher makes everything just a lot easier for the attack. So Minnesota is definitely playing for their favor here with that leaving that Thatcher on the board.
Well, Cade's also going to be removed now through. Now, invulnerable Cayades are a big factor in this map, but since Thatcher's actually now in play, you really don't have to worry too much about that. But who's going to be the final operator now removed from ban? We did see Valkyrie in map number 1. That is potential avenue to roll through, but no, it is going to be Mira shut on down, and maybe we can see some 3000 IQ plays with the Valkyrie and throw those cams in a bunch of locations outside and attempt to get some very aggressive runouts. We all know and love a member from the T3 community. He goes by the name of Defiance, and he does one thing particularly well, especially on Clubhouse. It is Valkyrie cam assisted runouts. So maybe we're going to see both these rosters try to channel their inner Defiance and get aggressive, get some free kills, or maybe, just maybe, get shut down in the process.
I really like Defiance. I'm an analyst for his team, and he's a very fun guy. He is
That's why I brought the reference.
Yeah. He is very much just like, every time I watch them though, like he's just itching for a run out at any point. But no Valkyrie brought out this time through the 6-pick phase, so we'll see if UCI is still going to play as aggressively, because the Nomad has been perma-picked a lot of the time so far in Siege in general, but particularly tonight, it has, I think, seen every round of play so far. So interesting to see that operator having such massive priority from both teams. But it makes a lot of sense, especially running the Thermite instead. Well, they are running both, actually. I didn't realize there was a Mana picked up. But yeah, running a Thermite in place of an Ace means you don't have that safety of the long range. You have to get up close to the wall, and any ill-covered run-out is going to be very detrimental to Mr. Thermite trying to get that wall open and make a big hole in them. As I want to know, or I want to see how Minnesota wants to attack this, because a lot of teams have started and really focused on adopting this attack of like really nailing down the main wall and then kind of just bailing off and fully focusing the bedroom while leaving one person alone on that main wall to cover any rotation play from the garage player, which UCI doesn't really have.
Now the thing is, Minnesota's going to have to utilize vertical pressure from some avenue, most likely through pushing through stonks. taking that pressure, but the thing is, they have to tread very lightly. They have to be careful of the pre-made murder holes that UCI is currently utilizing. You couple that with the extension over here of both Wamai as well as Wind on that Malus, it's going to be almost impossible to take control of the bottom part of the A bomb site. Shots exchanged, but my screen has completely yeeted itself into oblivion, so Cherish take it over.
Well, yeah, nothing's coming up just yet, as there is a shield plane in lobby, but the dedicated focus from UCI to cover this lobby hold is working wonders for them, because the wall has not been touched just yet by Minnesota, and in fact, they're just going to entirely bail off it. That's so crazy to me that they just fully just left this wall because they would rather not try and push and use utility onto the Wamai and the Malusi downstairs. And now it's going to be a construction focus from Minnesota. So the lack of focus on this side of the map from UCI could be very detrimental to them.
Temporarily, that is going to be the case. We're going to see a very linear execute from Minnesota, putting all their gun barrels all the way over to the west. Now, fortunately for them, though, they have plenty of time in utility, but they're also going to have to make reinforcement calls because Scrubs was down well off screen all the way over by bikes. That could be hugely detrimental, especially that HP lost for more or less free, because everybody wants to actively peek the garage. They want to actively challenge Raptors. It's CollegiateR's turn to do that, though. He wants to find some kills, but there's nobody anywhere near them for the time being, and it's going to be the 22nd meta rearing its other head. Now it's going to be a rush up the red stairs, not working well at all. It's going to knife to the back. That's a bad way to end your life, as everybody in the lobby begins to crumble. Death and destruction all around. They line up for the blue team of UCI, and then they all get knocked down.
Well, Kane pulled out a 4K in round one, going pretty big, holding down those metal stairs, as well as his push back on into the site. And while it was good in practice, or rather in theory, from Minnesota, it didn't really work out in practice for them because they were not able to get back over to the other side in time and really make an impact over there, and just, you know, not pushing out players into awkward spots and not burning out utility really bit them in the backside. And all in general, that was just a very messy attack from UMN. And if I'm seeing this correctly, we've got a Warden on the board with the shotgun, not the 1.5 MPX. Got a shotgun Warden coming out.
You know, sometimes you just want to have an M590 in your back pocket to dish out as many buckshot pellets as possible at the people trying to shoot back at you. Now, Warden is quite a dapper individual, really boasting that suit and tie, and he makes it work out, especially in combat. But will it work out for the defenders of UCI? That's going to be the big question in this round. And it looks like it's a very traditional downstairs basement hold, putting pretty much everything in the kitchen sink over here in blue, as well as utility facing up the central stairs. But how will the attackers of Minnesota actually push on through? Well, they're going to be trying to channel their inner Dark Zero energy, taking control of the top part of the map and working their way down, making sure that there's no roamers anywhere near the vicinity of their gun barrels, because if they are, those heads will start to roll.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting, as we're going to see. I like the Warden into the Capitao. Otherwise, there's, you know, not really, there's no Ying being brought out by UMN. There's no other operators that really, I would think, warrant the Warden. And considering the position he's playing is very interesting, to say the least. Considering that this is the site that they picked Warden on, is very interesting that they didn't pick him on the other site on CC, because he definitely does very well there, especially holding with that new 1.5 site over from the rafters area. No impact trick is going to come out on the hard breach charge from Ryder here. So the kitchen hatch will be opened up as Shelly is retreating to an absolute bunker position that he's got set up here by the Goyo.
Well, Cherish, they do call this bomb site armory after all, and you may as well reinforce it so you can survive in your bunker as long as possible. But the walls around poor Mr. Dapper is going to start to fall around as those Goyo shields erupt around him, and the attacker is going to start to work their way into the A-bomb site, but work their way no longer as the myriad of death continues to happen on through. The Dapper man now shut on down, as it's now a 1v4 Nitro Cell on hand for Wind. He's twisting in the wind as he now gets removed.
Yeah, a solid attack in the end for Minnesota. Sorry, as they definitely don't look phased by, frankly, how absolutely sideways their CC attack went. They don't look at all in a problem point. And again, Chelly is going to pick up this Warden here. Oh, not this time. He's going to switch to a smoke.
Sad
Maybe
face.
watch for the Capitao. It's not going to be switched off. So, not sure what the Warden's purpose was, really, but the double Goyo shield is very interesting. I know a common one we see is in the middle of Long, which is the other hallway down in front of church. It's short is the church walls, long is the walls that you never reinforce, that you put rotate holes through, or like the Kool-Aid wall is what I think it is. Is that one? Like the rush wall that just got reinforced?
So I call it ash. So there's two words, but it's either ash wall, ash spots, or pull spot. I think are the three main NA callouts.
I know it's ash spot. I forgot. Frankly, I did forget that it was ash spot. But I also knew is like people have nicknamed it Kool-Aid just because it's the same concept. You just blast it open and everyone comes rushing on through that. But yeah, the Goyo shields have not been placed yet, I think. And I wonder, yeah, no, he's gonna go back to creating this bunker. So I mean, I'm kind of down for that, but it's very interesting. There's also one that I've seen where they place it right under the kitchen hatch, and you have to. It forces the attackers to use utility if you place it the right way, because you can't shoot it from above because the blast pack or the explosive pack would have been from like the window side. So it's very interesting that this is what UCI consistently has been opting into, and I'm looking forward to seeing if it works any wonders this round.
Well, remember when Goyo was brought out at the beginning, right? Where you put a Goyo shield right at the bottom of Central Stairs. You'd also, as you're highlighting it, put it underneath the top hatch, and the attackers would just fall straight into the fire and destruction and be instantaneously blown up. What the defense is going to be making the adaptation of utilizing those tiny Pokeballs of destruction and despair, blowing those Habana pellets sky high. Now the impact tricking did fail in the long run because the top hatch has now been opened up, and that is going to be an absolutely huge blunder in favor of the defense, but hopefully they're able to basically rectify that in the long term.
This is probably one of the fastest church attacks I've ever seen, because before the first half, or the second half of the round, I don't know where I'm going with, like, what words I'm saying. The church wall has already been opened up. Wind has taken down Uwu, but the Thermite did his job there. able to open up that church wall and create a lot of pressure onto UCI, forcing Wind into a very awkward spot, and now forcing him to his death. Altair from above, actually, from that Moto hatch, is going to take out one. His shield finds another onto Allison this time. 3-on-4 now for UCI, trying to do what they can, but the Maestro from 2 different angles will be cut down very quickly. It's just up to Chelly from Dirt, trying to hold down where he can and not able to at all. Scrubs with yet another shining tonight, absolutely, for Minnesota. And a 2-1 attacking half lead for Minnesota as they head into the second rotation, the second showing of CC. Looking pretty solid for themselves.
Now, Cherish, do you know why he calls himself Scrubs?
I do not.
Well, it's because he's always putting people in body bags, and you don't want to get blood on your nice suit, after all, right? That's why you wear scrubs, after all, forehead.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. No. Bad jokes. Anyways, sometimes you just have to have bad jokes to make yourself smile in this entire series. And well, no better place to see yourself smile than over on TVs, as we're going over to Cash CCTV room for the time being. And my lord, both of these rosters have been playing, well, interesting sets of Rainbow Six Siege. And honestly, sometimes you need to make adaptations and change up your macro strategies to make them work for you.
So, yeah, as they try and get a little bit of a switch up, the Wamai still on board. Everything else looks the same for UCI. I really do think it's interesting that they're not playing anyone in Rafters. So, we'll get to see how they're going to play around with this. Also interesting that Wind has opted for impact grenades in place of the nitro cell, just because there's very little nitro play from UCI coming out on their team. We're gonna, though, I would assume that's for construction, actually. So that is probably where those impacts are going to be used should Minnesota swap over to that side focus this time around, which I kind of, for their sake, I would hope they do. I hope that Minnesota really focuses down this side. You can very easily deny these bandit charges from a safe position, safe-ish, safe enough position on this rear stage there of Bar through that soft wall. Or maybe, hopefully, they try and create some garage pressure and really force Hannah off of this wall here, which I think could honestly be a pretty good avenue, as Altair has found the head of Allison, and that avenue is looking a lot more likely as we keep ticking on this round.
Now, Cherish, there can't be any safe places on this map, because after all, we're in a mafia den filled with illicit drugs that you can't have out on tables. So it's definitely not a very safe place. And on the receiving end of a gun barrel, the Para 308, that's a terrible place to also be in, as shots exchange between both of these rosters. But Wind is going to get the better of that exchange, as he's going to find a kill of his own, but instantaneously shut down as everybody in the lobby starts to find their maker. Lord Tachanka welcoming everybody and opening arms for the time being. But Minnesota slightly in the man advantage with just the +1, and you have your Thermite Thatcher Zofia combination, an explosive way to enter into round number 4 as the clock continues to dwindle on down. But as we're highlighting, that Uwu is gonna be no more, as shut on through. No more poor Thermite, but the attackers are still in control this round and ready to go for the eager bomb plant. But who needs to put the bomb on the ground when you can just click heads?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about Siege. You don't have to just go for the bomb plant. You can get as many frags as you want. And Minnesota, despite only having Thatcher, has an attacking half lead. And realistically, they can throw away these next 2 rounds, and I would still say they're very much in favor going into their defense half. They still have 2 rounds to tally up some more here on Clubhouse on their attack half. And at worst, you end up 3-3. At best, you end up 5-1 with Maverick and Ace banned. They're very confident, and it's very much showing that this is why this is their map pick. They're showing why they are so comfortable here. And they're also trying to show us that we're not allowed to cast fun maps because they want to end this before we get to theme park.
What they don't understand is I want to meme on the park for as long as possible. As you were highlighting earlier, that is your favorite competitive map. Now, I have to lie to you, or I guess I should say I did lie to you earlier. Theme Park is not my favorite map. It is my second favorite map. And Consulate is still my favorite competitive map. It used to be Bank, but since Ubisoft just said, no more to you, Mr. Bank, and they got rid of him, so that means my favorite map is now still Consulate. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Consulate. It's fallen out of the meta, but it'll forever have a nice, warm, fuzzy place in my heart. I have great memories playing that map. Same thing with Bang. So hopefully the devs can rework both of those maps, keep them in the competitive pools long, because at the end of the day, Mr. Chief wants Bank back in the pool. He also wants Consulate to stay.
You know what? This is a statement that has gotten me a lot of flack in the past. I think with a couple small changes, I don't know fully what they would be, but I think with a couple small changes, Fortress could be a pretty fun and solid comp map, and I would really like to see Fortress in the map.
So actually, I have an answer to your question. The problem with Fortress is something the devs are trying to experiment, opening up as many buffer rooms as possible, which is why the map is so darn big. So they basically create as many buffer rooms as possible. The map becomes absolutely ginormous, and everybody hates it. And that's actually why people hate Consulate, because there aren't any buffer rooms. So people get mad. Theme Park is somewhere in the middle, where there's a normal amount of buffer rooms, and people get mad. Look at this map. There are no buffer rooms, and people love it. I don't know.
Well, this is falling apart already for Minnesota, as I'm not sure where Scrubs and Ryder fell. Actually, someone was in the doorway of the garage, but yeah, no buffer rooms means you run right up to the enemy. And with that, Minnesota is running right into UCI at this point. 5v3 now, as Minnesota's going to start to pivot on over to this backside take. At least Ubu's going to get this back wall taken out and breached on open a little earlier, I would think, than before. But still, there's play from below from the Malusi. There is still a Rafters player. And actually, that Malusi's coming up on a flank, which is not at all covered because of how Minnesota approached this attack. Wind is up now, going towards the bedroom, where last we saw Shield. Shield has instead now rotated into construction. Things could be going sideways in just a moment, as Allison at least finds one. Wind ever so cautious for backwards players, but Allison another for themselves. It's just up to Shield from the flank. Shield will not be felled. Instead, it is Kane in the sight, and a flawless round once again, stymied by that main wall, not able to find an opening for themselves. Minnesota will fall on the CCTV attack.
And fall, but they still have the advantage in the overall series as well here in map number 2. We've been talking time and time again about the 4-2 splits, but the thing is, the attackers are one round away from delivering the 4-2 splits. It is going to be the reverse Uno card of the century. Couple that with the instantaneously draw 4 as they work their way that much closer to securing the bag, working their way to the closed round of 6, that much closer to delivering themselves to the CR6 champions, be the undisputed best team in the competitive scene, at least from the college division. But before they get that, far, they're going to have to win here on map number 2, here in round number 6. And Cherish, you've been talking about the lovely bunker strategy over here by AKs, but I have to break your heart, my friend. There is currently 2 deployable shields, but they aren't explosive deployable shields. So I don't know if that bunker strategy is going to have the same effect as it did early on, because the Dapper Man, too, isn't in play either.
Yeah, frankly, I'm very interested to see where the Wamai specifically is going to be playing here, because we don't really see it down on Clubhouse on the basement as much. It looks like he will take the place of a generator player, maybe? I'm not sure. But, yeah, no Warden, no Goyo, no bunker. That's so sad. They are not trying to hold down the Alamo in that corner by the AK rack. As the explosive breach, or the hard breach gadget, what is it called? The explosive breach charge or something like that?
Pocket thermite, there you go. Yeah. That's what you call it.
The pocket thermite has been seeing a lot of use this match. So, very interesting to say the least. The Nitro will miss out as the second impact trick comes out to deny Altair's Hibana stuff. As another impact trick is going to miss out from the Maestro this time. And oh, he's just going to get away to this backside. Kane barely surviving as he has created, I think, some artwork for himself here. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at there, other than, I guess, nitro holes plus sight lines or something. But all told, the wall again is being opened up very early on by Minnesota, and this could be pretty big for their control that they get.
But will the Frosties hit hard? That's going to be the question so far. The defenders of UCI is going to be attempting to hoard all their Frosties in one location. That's why you need this big armory, as well as the church just adjacent to it, so you can pray to Lord Tachanka and try to defend your bunker for as long as possible, because the defenders of UCI, they want their Frosties, they want their McFlurries, and right now it is going to be the Alta attempting to contest that, but actually they're going to attempt for the solo plant. It's going to be an absolute blunder across the field for Minnesota, as they're not checking their corners. Everybody in the lobby is starting to crumble, and it is a man that tends to wear scrubs because he doesn't want to get any blood on his nice uniform, is now stuck in a 1v5. The defenders are going to start to work their way up the central stairs, and so far, it looks like UCI has accomplished their goal of defending the Frosties as the Alta chimes through. That's the Frosty secured.
Well, we, man, it is 3-3 as anticipated. And, yeah, very, very interesting attacking half, to say the least, from Minnesota, but not able at all to penetrate that church arsenal. Oh, wait, past the first attack they had on it, I think. They were unable to get into the church arsenal. 3 attacks on church, 3 on CC, with, I think it was 1 and 2 on CC, 2 and 1 on church. So very interesting, to say the least. Now, UCI is going to abandon the Thatcher in place of a Zofia. So, interesting that the Thatcher will not be played, but Zofia is coming out this time for Shelly, as their attack has maintained a very common setup, or rather lineup. They have consistently brought Ash, Zofia, Sledge, and Thermite over the 2 maps, and then that 5th one has swapped between IQ and now Hibana for Kane. And speaking of, there is no Hibana anymore for UCI, as a rehost was called before prep phase ended. So if it is true, then I think they did call it when it was like 5 seconds in prep, so I don't know the ruling. So there, yeah, we have just received word that we're gonna play it out.
Oh, I think our observer just said no, no, no. Well, apparently we're gonna be rehosting this time, as they're gonna start to team kill each other in this lobby. Oh no!
Oh, look at
Sherms
Scrubs
on a crazy kill. We're gonna call him Sherms the time being, because that's what he's doing all the way through. Oh no! We're back to our exquisite faces. Cherish, hello.
Like that you said, give me a word, and you just used the word exquisite. That's pretty nice. Yeah, so 3-3 right now as we are headed on to here. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, this has been quite the chaotic series, I would think.
That's a great way of putting on it. And honestly, chaos and destruction, that's the best way of playing Rainbow Six Siege. And that's actually why some teams like Dark Zero has started to bring out the Blitz, right? If you want to freight train your way into a bomb site, you could bring a Ying, sure, but why don't you just want to run at somebody with a shield and flashing them to oblivion? That sounds like it's way more fun to me at the end of the day. Now, sure, you could do the same strategy with the Fuse, but Fuse shield is so boring and lame. It doesn't do anything flashy. It doesn't do anything fun other than putting those hockey puck dispensers on the floor.
Yeah, it's very interesting that the what do you call it? The Fuse keeps getting weird buffs, like a 4th charge. I feel like Fuse can be very strong if certain things change for him that like have been talked about, like speed changes. If speed changes go through, like everyone becomes 2-2. It is very scary, I think, that a 4-charge Fuse could exist in this game just because of the way like sites work in like Church Arsenal. That could be some definite chaos with a Fuse. Otherwise, actually, this also brings up a question now. Are there any other operators that you would like to consistently see being played?
Well, that's a good question. I think Oryx is a fun operator to watch. Fuse could be instrumental, but honestly, I miss the days where you had Ying Glass meta and you just blitz the entire building, you flash the entire building, you smoke the entire building, and sure, that was really frustrating. But you have to admit, it was incredibly entertaining to watch. You'd have an entire 10-man lobby just instantaneously be dead. And there's this one lone individual just looking around at all the corpses of his friends being like, oh no, what on earth happened? Now, I guess you could make the argument with the same thing here currently in Utility Consumption Simulator, where, you know, there's 10 individuals alive, and then all of a sudden there's 9 individuals now dead, and that poor soul has to look and carry away all those dead mates.
Yeah, it is very annoying, I think, that it's coming back, frankly, that yeah, I'm not looking forward at all to seeing Ying Glaz, because I never played back in the days of like really bad Glaz, but I did see that with the recent changes that came through to live, Glaz is back to his old ways where he could kind of just walk through smokes, which sounds very fun because I know a lot of APAC teams in Asia Pacific Pro League have been pulling out Ying Glaz once again. I'm just...
Well, you say once again, they've been doing Ying Glaz the entire time. Did they ever stop doing Ying Glaz? I mean, ANZ is always the region that gets cute and tries to play around with things. Even LATAM to an extent too. And honestly, if it's something that can be abused, ANZ will abuse it. Same thing with LATAM, right? If they even smell Yinglas coming back, well, they're going to run it. And that's why they have been running it, because it really doesn't matter. If you see banana people through your scope, you're going to shoot. It doesn't matter if you're actually holding W walking in, or if you're just gonna be holding a line of sight, because at the end of the day, when you see the bright yellow banana person, you're always gonna shoot said yellow banana person.
Yeah, I also think that's also something, is that what do you call him? LATAM really loves Finca. They adore Finca, and very few other regions play Finca. Like ANZ kind of does, but not as much. But NA never touches Finca, and EU very rarely ever touches Finca. It's just crazy, the love that Latin America has for the I forget what the Operation Chimera. Yeah.
Yes, it is Chimera.
Okay, that was what it was. Yeah. She very few players play Finca ever. I don't know. I'm not against Finca not seeing play. I want her to have a gadget rework already that makes her more useful.
So, okay, hot take. Really, really spicy hot take. First off, give the Spirit the angle grip. I think that's going to change it, because everyone's running the darn LMG, because it has the exact same ADS time as the AR. So you may, or it has LMG ADS, but still, it has a vertical grip, both of them, and you may as well utilize the LMG bullets at the end of the day and just hold mouse number 1, especially when you have absolutely no recoil, but still allow her to ADS faster. But my super hot take is, we all know the shotguns on the German operators, the M590. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ubisoft, please give it an ACOG. That's all I want to see. I'll be a very happy man if the M590 M870 got an ACOG. That would be absolutely brilliant. Absolutely amazing. So please, Ubisoft, make Chief happy.
So, you're going to have to keep casting. I'm getting a call from my roommate.
Well, that's why you don't have roommates, my friend, and just graduate college and move back into your with your parents. That's the big brain play right there. But we're going to have to see this execute over here from UCI. And how will they elect to go for this execute? Well, they're going to have to break down this east hard wall, and they're going to have to break it down as soon as possible. Now, fortunately for both of these teams, they can fight it out over on the stock side. They can get aggressive. They can utilize that vertical destruction, and that's exactly what's happening. It's going to be a frag grenade bonanza working its way up, trying to blow any members sky high. But the real question is, are there going to be any feet exposed to blow them up with those frag grenades? Time continues to dwindle on down. The attackers have the entire first floor in their control. Bandit's going to be forced away because the explosive device is raining on through. And the thermite charge is going to be opening up the east barricade as well. So that means the attackers now have an avenue. They have the path to work their way on through. They can establish crossfires, but tread very lightly, UCI, because holes work both ways, and the holes you utilize are now being against you as bullets rain down from above. The AC-130 gunship turned into the AUG-A2, but sadly nobody being on the receiving end of that, at least temporarily. Now UCI does have to expedite this execute. They're going to have to hunt for some kills, as there's still 10 members in the lobby left alive and standing. Shrub is going to go for one, but he's not going to find anything on the receiving end of his 416 carbine. And now it's Ash's turn to utilize a carbine of her own. working our way up through the north door of Garage, fishing for more kills. A pre-fire is going to be good enough to destroy the Meister Evil Eye, and there's the first kill. Oofchan's going to find one, but instantaneously relegated to the trash bin as he's shut on down. And it's 24 seconds left in this round. The attackers are going to have to push through their fatal funnels. It's a little bit too much of a delay, but they now have control of the bomb site, and it's going to be even more control mounting for them as blue team is going to find all the most important kills. But the bomb has been completely surrendered, but it doesn't matter when you have an entry fragger named Allison.
Well, I am back, and the Ash did absolute work, I think, picking up 3 frags in that round. Great job by Allison there running that one. So with that being said, UCI will take their first lead of since the first round on Clubhouse here. They've battled back down that from 3-1, now up 4-3, doing well for themselves. And yeah, it is very interesting so far. Back to CC we go, though, for the defense here. Is once again, Thatcher is left out of the equation for UCI. So interesting that okay, they're just discussing about like 6-pick stuff. So yeah, Thatcher right now is in a weird spot. I think it is a nerf that he with the change that went through, but I don't know. Teams still very highly prioritize the operators, so it's very interesting to see the change that started up from Space Station, like all the way back at SI or early on in the spring, when they started just mass banning Thatcher and everyone kind of picked up on it. So I love them and hate them for that, because now we have seen literally nothing else, I think, on the attacking side, it seems like, since then.
So in all seriousness, if you're the team that is considered the underdog or not as structured or doesn't have as many strats in your back pocket, you should never be banning Thatcher, because that's going to hurt you. Thatcher is a great way of shutting down Utility Consumption Simulator. And if you don't have the tools or don't have the understanding of breaking down Utility Consumption Simulator, well, all you need to do is bring a Thatcher everything, and this gadgetry is now going to be turned off. You can destroy the deployable shields instantaneously for free, and that is the easy peasy lemon squeezy down to opening up walls and everything along those lines. And speaking about opening up walls, each breach is now, well, been removed, as there's a giant hole in there.
Yep. So, oh, that's rough for Kane that he can't get through his breach there into the garage, as it'll be Scrubs looking down onto the Hibana. I'm not sure how Shield lost half of his health either. I think it was probably actually from below, from either Chelly on the Zofia or Allison's Ash, but on a flank place. Actually, no, sorry. Scrubs is going to be the one to find Hannah, actually. And that's huge. The Thermite fell despite the wall being open, so they did their job to a degree. But with all Hibana pellets used up, this main wall is going to have to be the focus. And now Allison fell on the flank to Altair. Huge find for the Malusi, as Kane is going to have to worm their way back out of the garage and, well, right back on in, as they are just waiting ever so patiently for the rest of their team. But this UCI side is so just stuck between the lobby and the bottom garage, at least until Wind has found the head of Ryder. Altair still on a big flank, as Uwu is getting heavily hit by Kane. Shelly not able to find the head until just now from Shield. So the diffuser recovered. It's a 3-on-3, and with a big flank coming up from Altair, Uwu's tagged down even more. Altair's not able to find anything, as Wind found a flank or a kill onto Uwu, but it's just up to Wind and Scrubs as well from the top of the rafters. able to bring us to 4-4. Great play from these two, the Malusi of Altair and the Jaeger of Scrubs, able to combine for 4 frags together. Things working out pretty well for them on this one. As Chief has told me, he has a joke.
So we all know Hibana was trying to work her way through the breach. At the end of the day, we all know that snakes are meta, and that's the most important thing to consider, especially when you're attacking onto the east side of this map, because if you have perfect recoil, you're always able as an attacker to shut down those individuals. But sadly, that won't be the case. It's going to be the defense mounting a comeback, winning their engagements, and shutting down the slithery snake style meta. As you were highlighting earlier, Hibana made a big oopsie in that round, putting those X-Chiral pellets just a little bit too far away, and thus she had to do nothing more than just slither her way on through to the garage.
So, I mean, to be fair, it's not like it was a bad position or anything. It just happened that the rest of UCI was not in a place to assist, just being across that lobby wall from their teammate. So we'll have to see, as again, I think a Nitro is used. Pretty weird, frankly, from Minnesota, that they are, you know, foregoing shotguns or impacts and just outright forgetting these utility pieces that kind of are standard for a lot of teams, and, you know, a lot of setups, and they're forced to use utility that you normally wouldn't have to use, like nitro cells, for these rotations. So we'll be seeing place 2 a Wamai, interestingly, running a shield, and no dirt presence, which is kind of standard lately. But I think the biggest weird part is the bandit, really.
Now, Ben has seen some love, especially over there in the triple wall of church, and you really can't destroy them. You know, you're going to have to Thatcher it away, so I guess you could. But the problem is, in the Giga Brain play that the defenders read into, was the fact that, well, there's no Thatcher on the board because the attackers elected not to bring it. Now, the reason they probably foregone that entire decision of Thatcher was because, well, they banned out Kaid in the long run. So that could give the attackers a little bit of avenues to actually work its way on through. Top patches will be opened up for more or less free, but will the defenders mount some crazy Giga Brain play? Will they be working their way up secret stairs? Will they work their way up the central stairs? For the time being, the only thing they're going to be working their way into is impact tricking the kitchen hatch.
Yeah, that's right now Uwu's duty at this point. Just do their work, or rather, yeah, just their job at this point is just impact trick, and then once their 2 impacts are used up, yell at shield, hey, come on over, and do the same exact thing. Wonder if that Banshee will be destroyed. It should be there by Shelly with the Zilfield lifeline, as now 1 impact trick is done. Will we see 2? As Allison has made their way actually into dirt very quickly. I say quickly, like 2 minutes hasn't passed in this round, but it could be a good avenue, as now Kane has foregone the kitchen hatch actually, and I think that could also be huge.
But will the mounting comeback come even more for UCI? Or will the Midwesterners shut them on down? Right now, UCI is in quite a predicament. They're going to have to push out through the fatal funnels. Ash is going to be attempting to find one, and she will succeed in that endeavor. This is the opening avenue that UCI needed, and Allison's going to be even looking for more, but explosions are raining around her, but she still wins the exchange. And where's the bomb going down? It's been surrendered all the way over to church. This should be a round loss for UCI. They have no answer back whatsoever, and it will be the attackers do everything right other than minding Mr. Father Time, who says you're not going to be winning this round. Round number 10, that much closer to the conclusion of this series as the 4-5 split.
Frankly, pretty huge from Minnesota there. They killed off Hannah, who was the initial bomb carrier, and then followed it up with another down onto, I believe it was Wind, and then maybe Kane. I'm not sure who the second down was, but it became this weird conga line of diffuser drop after diffuser drop. And because it transferred over so many times, no one had any clue, I would assume, from UCI who had it to get the plant down. So Minnesota just had to play off time, and the Wamai did just that, still hiding over back by Generator, gunning down who they needed to, and finishing off the round. So after 10 rounds, we're going to see our first gym bedroom as a result. And we're going to see what used to be the standard for a lot of teams, the Castle Bandit duo, as they are going, it will be Minnesota opting into this one. And very interestingly, we're going to be seeing what's interesting. Nothing's interesting, right? Other than that, from Minnesota, actually, I kind of like have just like buzzwords in my head, which is usually very interestingly is one of them. Like I just said, there's some others that I just like. Well, you'll like always hear me say them, and it's just that's what happens to like come out of my head. The first thing that when I don't know what to say, even if it like doesn't fit the situation, like. There's nothing very interesting about like a standard comp hold right now for Minnesota from like the CC hold, but my brain was like, yes, still say that.
So, Cherish, by the definition of the world, if it's not interesting, does it also technically make it interesting because you didn't you expect it to be interesting, but since it wasn't interesting, that thus makes it interesting, I think I broke
my brain is too gone at this point to comprehend what you just said, I think.
Sometimes things start to happen when it starts to get very late at night, but for the time being, how will the attackers push over to the tertiary bomb site? Well, they're going to make a lot of explosions along the way, and the ADSs are going to be no more. The flashbang dump is going to do exactly what it does, basically turning those gadgetry off, as those explosive charges are no longer a factor. But the attackers aren't even electing to do an east clear. They're going to do just a very linear push all the way over from Spa here. Thermite's going to open up the wall. There are no bandit batteries whatsoever. It's just going to free hot reach on through. And the majority of the defense have rotated all the way over to the billiards table because they want to conclude round number 10 in explosive fashion with all those nitro stells below.
So, well, Ryder is going to retreat. I actually think they're 0-3 since the rehost. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, they didn't get a kill before the rehost. So, little rough map for Ryder, but it's still crazy that Minnesota is so even right now with UCI and, in fact, in the lead. Speaking of UCI, they have opened up this jacuzzi wall, and with 35 seconds to go, could be looking for a plant, but perfectly in place is Shield. Ryder will stay killless for the time being, as a nitro bait comes out pretty well from UCI. That's Hannah doing work there, and now planting behind the reinforced wall. That diffuser will be coming down, but in pushing forward, the castle will fall. The diffuser has gone down, at least from below. Shield will pick up one onto Hannah, but the damage is done, I think. 4v2 now for UCI, sorry, as Shield is going to be forced to push up from downstairs. Altair from the cross side of CC, and Shield is just absolutely pinned, unable to really do anything, unaware that the Zofia is down on the stairs, but he has downed the Zofia somehow in that gunfight. Not able to finish off the half-health Bandit as Shield is pushing forward right in the crosshairs of Allison, though. Winded down Altair on the other side of the map. And we are confirmed for 12 rounds once more between these two teams, at the least. As Minnesota is looking to end this before OT, before even considering theme park. And I think UCI might have their number, really.
It's gonna be hard to tell, that's for sure. And you're talking about winning the gunfight against Sophia, and we all know that when you're running the red dot on the MP7, that actually increases your DPS by about 12-fold, and that allows you to punish anybody in the receiving end. So if you aren't running OG red dot, ladies and gentlemen, please make that adaptation as of now, so you can get as much as benefit as possible utilizing that delicious red dot sight from back in the day. Now, in theory, you could, still run that new nice and clean red dot, but remember, it doesn't increase your damage or your bullet output by any. So remember, always OG red dot. That's the name of the game. And well, speaking of that, who's going to be winning round number 11? It seems like the defenders are really struggling to hold their real estate. They have no answer back whatsoever from the attackers. They need to have a quick doopity-doop of the mindset change if they want to be successful.
So, yeah, it is, This double impact is interesting. The dedication from Minnesota to not bring a shotgun in any capacity is pretty crazy, I think.
Well, the craziness might continue to go through this lobby, as I think the attackers are going to be attempting once again to do an execute all the way from the west, but they have to be very careful about this, because Malusi's flirting with them right now. She can get aggressive, but she's actually going to be hiding in the bathroom for the time being, and she knows that there's somebody very close by, and they're going to miss drone her whatsoever. It's going to be a free kill for CollegiateR, and he's going to be attempting to find even more, but he has his back turned to Sledge. Sledge just needs a vault on through with the L8, get a free kill. There's a pre-fire through the wall, damage dealt, but not enough to actually do much more than 3 HP points. But that 3 HP points might be enough to save his life or hurt him in the long run. You never know. There's the 3 HP to bite him in the long run as he's now down on his back, but he's going to be rezzed because a player of CollegiateR shut on through.
I'm not even sure who downed Wind there. It might have been shield swinging, but the positioning of Kane... Oh, wait, Kane... Okay, so it makes sense. All right. Kane was outside, shields swung through construction, which was why Kane was not able to refrag onto shield. At least Wind has been revived for the side of UCI, and shield escaped with no damage, but CollegiateR really did massive work as, the Elda from long range. It doesn't matter if it only has a 1x now. Able to do work as he finds the head of Kane just up to Hannah now is a sole hard breacher for UCI. No impact tricking will be done from the defense of Minnesota, but the wall has been breached. 45 seconds remain as there is downstairs coverage from Shelly and 2 players in the construction bed side. That is Wind and Hannah left alone with these 30 seconds to go. But there's no plant denial. There's no focus on this site from UMN. Now they're going to swing, and it's a trade kill, but working out in the favor of Minnesota. Scrubs is going to go 1 for 1 with the planter, and 15 seconds to go. Wind is on practically 1, maybe 2 HP. The point is the Sledge is just a breath away from death. Shield almost shot through the wall, as now Chelly has to work on coverage, but shield from CC. The Maestro will fall jumping through AC, but Minnesota will put themselves onto map and match point here. Considering everything that happened, that is, again, a chaotic end to a round.
I think the word you would like to use is interesting way to end the rounds. It's going to go in explosive fashion. And as you were highlighting, it's currently match point, series point, game point. And honestly, round number 11 is going to conclude as the penultimate round sets sails off into the distance. And it's going to be Minnesota one step closer to actually delivering themselves to victory, achieving the ultimate goal of moving over to the best of 8 round, and they're only 1 round away from doing that. But they have to go back downstairs to basement. Fortunately for them, though, the last time they were here, they ended up winning it. So they have to utilize the same strategy. They won this bomb site because they were playing the clock perfectly. UCR was far too passive on this execute. They didn't play the clock well at all. And with a pistol in hand, Father Time patting you on the back, that is all you need in the long run.
Yep, definitely. It could go either way. It does seem that Minnesota is pretty comfortable to play time here on this site, but at the same time, feels very fine for UCI that they were very in control this last time through. It came down to a 4-on-2 off of the entry, specifically from Allison from Dirt. So we'll see if they can make their way in once more from the Dirt tunnel with very little contention, just because Minnesota kind of like to just barricade that off and say, okay, that's it. Like, there's nothing more to say about that. They just kind of barricaded it off and forgot that it was even a position on the map. So UCI making sure that no one is upstairs. Good thing to know for us, because we have outlines and because we are just overhead viewers. We know that there is no one upstairs. So UCI can go ahead and clear this out very well. Something to note, I will say, comparatively to other teams in Collegiate that I have watched and have experienced, it is very nice to see that UCI has very solid and very good drone work and it's team coordination when it comes to the roam clear and the drone clear, because very few collegiate teams that I've seen are this fast and this comfortable at clearing out a lot of stuff. So it's nice to see from UCI, and hopefully their fast clear can transition into an equally fast take of the base.
Well, the attackers are begin to execute over to the kitchen, but they don't have time on their side, so they can't dilly-dally whatsoever. So they don't have any time to make those delicious gingerbread cookies. They have the one execute in mind. They have to deal with the B bomb site, and the problem is there are currently an Alda as well as a shield rat actively playing this B bomb chassis as well as B number 1. So what are they going to do? Their pushes are far too linear. They have no crossfire potential whatsoever, and we're gonna need somebody to start to drop down the central stairs or directly challenge E-Bucks. And that's the thing. The attackers have an equal man advantage, which is a scary thing to go when you're pushing such a linear position.
Yeah, it is going to be very linear of a push from UCI as they finish off their last 30 seconds. The dirt is a focus the dirt tunnel is a good focus once again from UCI, but no hatches opened and no drop pressure from those hatches is very rough. The first frag is going to come out from Kane onto Uwu. A huge find as the Maestro falls alongside the Jaeger going down. But from box 3, the Malusi will find one, but it's just really Ryder and Altair now. 2v4, once again, 1v4 now, as Ryder jumps on Cams accidentally. The Nitro's not able to find anything, as Ryder's not even able to find a thing. UCI, despite having not the most map control, no church wall opened up, no kitchen hatch opened up, Wind and the rest of them are able to get the frags that they need and send this one into overtime.
Well, we were not expecting this, and it seems like both of these teams are very capable of playing on each other's map picks. And right now, we're guaranteed at minimum 3 rounds till map number 2 concludes. And it's almost impossible to tell which roster is actually going to be the successful one on defense, because both of these rosters are actually struggling on defense. It seems like both teams have gone 3-3, 3-3, which is the case across 12 rounds. And it's going to be the team that makes the most mistakes that's going to be the team that actually ends up losing this engagement. And the thing is, most of these rosters have their strategies go straight out the window, and they're relying on their gun skill and their mechanical prowess.
All right. So, UCI starting on the attack. Like you said, 3-3 for both sides means I don't think like with the way that these two teams have been playing, I don't really think that it's a big deal that UCI is starting on the attack. It looks like they're just as comfortable on this attack as compared to the defense. And I think it's very interesting to note that Minnesota, to me, just off the operators, just off the operator selection, it seems like UCI is more comfortable with this map. Minnesota pulled out a lot of Thatcher, I think almost all 6 rounds, whereas UCI has been pulling out the double breach of Ash Zofia in its place and done just as well. So they're really showing on this attack on Clubhouse that they don't need what was considered, or what is considered, a very strong operator to win out their attacks. So I do think, considering they have to still take 2 attacks, this is more in favor of Minnesota than UCI. But it could be big once Altair gets found and not killed, actually.
Teasing us with more death than destruction. That's what UCI is so darn good with. They're flirting with each other temporarily, but for the time being, Minnesota is going to be living to fight a completely different day. They're going to be retreating back all the way over to the bomb site, which is Cache CCTV, except for one enigma of a player. That is going to be Shield Strats, as he's over very close to Central Stairs, and it's going to be the opening kill as Oof came and is no longer a factor in this round. And that's going to be one of your 2 hard breachers shut on down, and that's going to nerf the attackers severely. They're going to have to deal with these electrified walls now, and since you don't have a hard breach with the potential of impact tricking, it's going to almost be impossible. Bane is going to work his way out of the bar and straight into a 6-foot grave, no longer a factor in this round, and the Nitrocell surrendered absolutely for free as the attackers now open up the west wall. How on earth was this possible? The defense had no answer back whatsoever.
Full focus on this construction side for UCI means things are going to work out better in their favor, as a nice nade from Wind is going to land in the pocket of Altair. No ADS to defend the Malusi, and that puts UCI in a much better position. No Nitro play now at all from the defending side. Both Nitro users, or both possible Nitro users, felled. It is just now the plant coming down as well from Hannah. Scrubs is going to be felled from the window. Ryder doing what they can, shaking a bit, but the plant is coming down. The round is won by UCI, putting us onto map point as, oh man, they want to head to theme park.
Oh, we're one step closer, that's for sure. Yeah. But I don't know if we're going to actually see it happen, because the Midwest has something to say about that. They have 2 more rounds. They're going to have to win them both out in a decisive fashion. And UCI just seems to be better on this map. They seem to be winning their gunfights, winning their exchanges. And that's something that the defenders are going to have to change up. They have to change up their macro strategy. And once again, we're falling in this fallacy where defenders are trying to play the clock too much, but they're putting their backs completely against the wall, where the attackers know they have no other choice other than just getting aggressive and actively clicking heads. And the attackers are going to read into that perfectly and punish the defenders outright.
So we're going to see the only UCI defense going also to CC. Now, from what I'm remembering, Minnesota in regular time lost their gym bedroom defense. I think they were 1-2. No, I think they were 2-0 on CC. They were 0-1 on gym, as I think Kane has crashed.
10 seconds left.
That's their second rehost. They can't call another rehost this match. This will be no rehost whatsoever.
I don't think so.
It's UCI that called it early on, so I believe they won't be able to rehost twice in the same map. We're just going to confirm with production as well as admin, so we're just going to wait on through with that one, but it looks like they're going to be forced to play with the man down, the man disadvantage, and the defenders are going to be nerfed severely for the time being. That's going to allow the attackers to work their way on through. Oh, so the rehost is eligible, so UCI can utilize it. So we're going to have our lovely observer, Mr. Max, confirm that with these teams.
Well, while we're...
So yeah, rehost will be confirmed. We just need rehost to say it is okay to actually rehost on through. There they go. Oh, but he's actually returned. That's so unfortunate. That's going to be a big oof. He's in this lobby, but it's an oof cane that's the one that disconnected. So there seems to be a nice circle arc to that.
Well, I don't know. We're hearing multiple things from Steph. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out what's going on for the time being. We're going to keep this map going, and we're trying to figure out what on earth to do. But for the time being, we're going to assume UCI actually has to play out this map and play out this series. And right now, with the man disadvantage is constantly mounting their favorites at the 5v2, this is almost a surefire win to go us over to the final round 15.
Yeah, I mean, a 4v5 will do that, but at least Allison has something to say about it, trying to hit double digits here for themselves, as they're going to be peppered away at by the AC player from Minnesota. That will be, I think, Scrubs, that was, or rather, Shield was over there. My apologies. His Shield has now worked his way into Cash Room. That Thatcher pushing forward, able to start getting the plant down, and oh my gosh, almost just a laser beam right there to where the plant was started by Shield. Allison working forward slowly but surely, trying to find where Shield is playing right now. The plant is not coming down as wind has been tagged up a little bit. Shield's going to start the plant. Ooh, is going to find one, but Allison from the flank is no! Shield and Allison will trade out as we head to round 15 for sure. And, oh man, that loss of the player could be the nail in the coffin for UCI.
Ooh, one step closer, and as you're highlighting, this map has been a little bit attacker-sided, but nonetheless, traditional wisdom would say that this map tends to be defender-sided, and as we're moving to round 15, we see the Californians at the disadvantage, as they're now going to have to attack on a completely different bomb site. Now, fortunately for them, it will not be a completely different bomb site, because, well, they're going to be going over to Cache CCTV, and, well, we're trying to be debating on what on earth is going on with that rehost, if it was actually legal, if it wasn't legal, what on earth. But our lovely admin is now here to confirm and right the wrongs that us troglodytes created.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yeah. So...
Again, we're debating on whether or not this round needs to be replayed or not, so please bear with us as we try to address the discombobulation that actually happened. So we're going to be rehosting it out all the way through.
10 seconds left before 5 seconds to go.
So we're going to be diving quickly back over to Caster Cams as we show our face why we deal with the shenanigans that are currently happening in all chat. And there we go, Mr. Cherish, say hello to the camera. You weren't expecting to come back to us. Say hello.
No, I was not expecting that. All I was told, I was whispered in my ear that Discord was not live, so I was just not talking, and then all of a sudden it's our faces. So, well,
Whew,
Ah,
all I
of
know.
course. That's what that means. All right.
All I know, Cherish, is this thing just seems to get more and more entertaining. Now, the word you love to use is interesting, and I think that epitomizes everything that's currently happening here in map number 2, as things get more and more spicy. But the big question is, what type of spicy food are we consuming? Is it a nice curry with a big, bold flavor, or is it some nice, Mexican food with some serrano peppers, with all your tacos? I think I've broken Cherish over here. For the time being, we're going to dive over a quick 5 to 10 minute break while we try to figure out what on earth is going on. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back somewhere in the middle of map number 2.
Yo, what's up with that? The round was played.
welcome back. It's currently round number 14. We hopped in our DeLorean time machines and delivered us back to round 14 to the start when that rehost was called. So it's a 7-1 scoreline, or pardon me, 7-1, a 7-6 scoreline in favor of UCI, and they're one step closer to driving us all the way home into map number 3. Cherish, I know you're so excited for map 3 because that is your favorite map, but all UCI needs to do is win the next round, and straight to meme park we go.
Well, favorite map or not, it'll probably be 2 a.m. by the time we hit theme park. And that is not something that excites me. So, I'm not going to let it influence my casting because I am a better caster than that. But I am biased right now. My bedtime, like my sleep brain is biased right now towards Minnesota winning. But regardless, I do think both teams have put on quite the showing tonight so far. They've been performing admirably for themselves as Uwu is now loaded in. Well done, because I don't want to sit through another rehost. As that's always just an absolute blast for us. But here we go, back up to CC once again. This time, wind is on. No, it is still Kane actually on the Wamai. I always get the two confused, the Melusi and Wamai now, because they're such similar colors. It's a good thing that not a lot of people play like Ella, because that color is also very similar. Like that weird like teal blue. They have like 3 very similar shades of it, and it's very annoying to see. But away from weird color considerations from Ubisoft, everything is the same as it's been the previous rounds. So nothing particularly interesting to talk about there. We'll see how Minnesota wants to face, because the way the UCI defends this, Minnesota has had such a struggle penetrating the Wamai downstairs specifically to create pressure on a lot of these walls. Even as they bring the Thatcher, they have not been doing a great job of wall breaching. So I wonder how it's going to fare for them, as Scrubs might find the Melusi. Not yet. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, sadly, just a nice peekaboo back between two operators. 2 blue operators, as you're highlighting. They wanted to say hello to each other. They wanted to greet each other with bullets, but no bullets rain out. But what does rain out? That's going to be smoke grenades coupled up with a thermite charge, opening up the east breach. And that is going to be an avenue for the attackers to push their way on through. But the time being, they're not going to push their way on through. They're going to be just a little bit sensible about their decisions and begin to self-drone themselves in, grabbing as much information as possible. Now, Cherish, you're talking about mixing up the different glues between the teams, and I have a great solution for you, my friend. Don't forget to wirelessly charge your eyeballs, because it's the best way at identifying blue colors. Make sure you have as much energy flowing through your retinas as possible. That's always a great way and a great day, and it's going to be another kill going on through, as flirting with death over an oil pit. Who is going to be the winner of these exchanges for the time being? Sophia is going to be playing the angle.
Yep. Well, the Melusi will be found, and Scrubs will find the downstairs player that caused havoc on the last garage-focused attack from UMN. In the meantime, the construction wall has been opened up. Now, Wamai had, I believe, 1 disc left in their pocket. But besides that, Minnesota is in a prime position to attack. The main wall is open, but not being watched. Really weird positioning, frankly, from Minnesota, but still, they're going to eventually look for a plant, I would hope, unless Uwu's going to get felled by Kane with no refrag, and Kane has found another head. Kane's trying to send this to a map 3 on their own, as Scrubs is also, I think, disconnected. Altair is down as well. It's just practically up to Ryder at this point. as he has to push forward through a Malusi. Oh, this is so rough for the attack, as there is just no hope. We're gonna be seeing Theme Park tonight, Chief, because, oh man, I don't even, he's still just going. He's still going.
Well, sometimes you just have to jogging man in place and get yourself hyped up for map number 3, right? We're talking about getting the energy flowing through your eyeballs, but you're gonna need it to flow through the rest of your body, all the way up and down your legs. You need as much energy as possible, because at the end of the day, how else you can control your mouse hand? You know, you have to be energetic, ready to go. But for the time being, we're gonna hop over to a quick 5 to 10 minute break to give these players the nice rest, charge up their brain cells before diving into Meme Park, our third map.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll
Domingo down here on the casting booth here. I'm here with my friends Chief and Cherish because I needed to help carry them through this fun matchup as we have UCI going against Minnesota here. How are we doing, Chief?
I'm doing wonderful, my friend, and no better way of starting Meme Park off with the first ever TriCast and Collegiate R6. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And hello, Mr. Thatcher. You will no longer be in this game because you're going to be the default ban once again.
Yeah, another Thatcher default, very fun as always. And I'm assuming it will be Maverick or Ace. No,
Huh.
okay, neither. It is a Jackal band, interestingly, from Minnesota here. As I think we're gonna just see standard bands. We'll probably see actually, I think a Valkyrie band come out alongside of Mira because I know you were mentioning it earlier that Cafe is one of her, if not her best map. Thankfully, when my band comes out, yeah, you mentioned that Mira is very good on Cafe. She's also very good on Theme Park.
Oh, certainly, yes, she is. And the final band comes out. That's the default mirror there, like we said before. Kind of expected on this theme park as she is so strong on multiple sites. But now we're going to get into the first round here with UCI on the defense. We've seen a tight contest going across. Chief, what are we looking for on this first round here as we're going to Armory?
Well, Tango Mango down before we even talk about the macro strategy. I just have to say, listening to your voice on stream is absolutely delicious. So thank you for blessing the airwaves at this very late hour with your glorious voice. But we're going to be starting over in Throne Room. The primary bomb site's going to rear its very ugly head. And so far, it's actually a interesting strategy where we don't see a lot of electrical units in play. And that's actually a very good thing for the defense because you can't actively bandit trick these walls. The only way of defending Throne Room is with projectiles. Those are going to be your mini Pokeballs that you throw from the far deep side of the throne, and you try to Kobe as many of those hard breach gadgetries as possible. Now, you can also Kai trick in theory as well, but frag grenades can shut that down more or less for free. Given the fact that Maverick is in play, frag grenades are going to be a huge part of this round.
There is a Maverick brought out by Minnesota this time, interestingly, but again, no Ace opted into, so can only have one good thing here, I suppose. Like you mentioned, though, uh, really all the electrics that everything that needed to come out from UCI is coming out. They're bringing out four sets or two sets of impacts, four total, and the Kaid, which is pretty standard. So, actually talking about standard, this is a very not standard defense. There's reinforcements allocated to labs, or rather yeah, that is the drug lab side of lab storage. And there's also a rotate created into barrels. So UCI is very focused on a maintenance attack from Minnesota here.
Yeah, no, a very unique setup here because most teams that we see attacking theme park, this strong armory throne site, we see them going after the top floor to work down into it. So typically you'll see roamers upstairs, but here we don't see any roamers around. You got four people on site. Yes, you got the Malusi playing in a drug lab and bathroom there, but there's not much pressure here. So we're looking for a Minnesota here. They can easily clear that top floor, and we see here that they're getting ready in maintenance here, looking to set up, trying to battle the Cade here as he's doing the tricks. Nades come out, looking to try to get this claw down because if they can get this claw, they're going to see a big defense here, but this could really open up the round.
Nitrocell goes straight out and goes into the explosive demise. There's no residue whatsoever on the floor, which means it was shot somewhere in midair. That's a huge blunder by UCI. That's going to mean that the wall is going to be ripped open through the exothermic charge. There's the hole, there's the avenue, and where will the attackers push on through? They're still going to have to do their due diligence with the clock and utilize not only the vertical destruction, but as well as utility consumption simulator and try to push Oofkane even deeper into the bomb site and also place the player of Malusi over into fire. Now, Chevy is going to be playing with the reverse Uno card. No M590 in hand, but it's going to be the FMGA9, the TCSG, unable to find the headshot in this round as the recoil control is just a little bit too much. Wind is trying to knife the midair and saying, hello, attackers, I'm over here.
Final 40 seconds remain as Hoofkane is the lone casualty. This backside is going to be opened up as well into the armory. And with 30 seconds left, all the avenues that Minnesota would like to have open are just that. In the meantime, though, Wind is locking down this backside, and the rest of UCI is doing what they can. 15 seconds to go, and no pushes come in from Minnesota as Wind is going to find Altair on the backside. Allison's going to help deny the plant, but no, not able to land a single shot at the least. Shelly's able to refrag onto Ryder with that FMG9. Ubu's going to start the plant down in the back of Armory, I think. No, back behind the throne room or somewhere in throne room. I can't figure it out. The plant has come down as Scrubs finds another and Shield with one more. It's just up to Shelly on very low health, sub 25, but not able to survive as Shelly. As Shield will help clinch out the final attack with 2 of the 3 last kills here for the attacking side of Minnesota, able to lock down the throne attack. And man, that was a very chaotic last. These teams just love very chaotic.
Dude,
attacks.
that last second push there, that Meister had 2 people in his sights. And dude, those attackers, they pulled the matrix. They're dodging all the bullets coming out of that Maestro, manages to get the pick. They rush in, get the plant in. And dude, that changed the game right there. It looked like UCI was doing everything right there, slowing down the game. They had all the crossfires. And then one option, the Maestro misses all of his shots, opens up the entire game, gives Minnesota the chance to get the plant down there, and they got the win. Now that was a great post plant play by that Maverick there to finish out the game there, but that was insane right there.
Holy guacamole, we're going to be returning back over to Throne Room once again. There's still plenty of impact grenades on the side of UCI, but they have to throw them in the right locations. That is the most important thing about this meta. You can have all the tools in your back pocket, but those tools aren't actually landing in the positions you need them to. You may as well bring something completely different. And at that point, you should just switch your entire operator lineup to begin with and bring out Lord Tachanka. You can actually play him on this site, especially if you're putting that turret facing all the way to the east. The attackers are going to blow that wall sky high, and the only thing they're going to hear is the rat-a-tat-tat of that LMG and the face shield. The attackers now relinquish from spawn. It looks like it's going to be more or less the exact same lineup, but what you're highlighting in round number 1 was the fact that the defenders didn't put any man up on that second floor. It allowed the attackers to take vertical destruction for free and avenues to walk straight into sight.
There's nothing interesting coming out from like either. Like it's all just default stuff. There like in terms of operators, there's no interesting operator selection. It's very interesting, I will say, that this roam focus from UCI is coming out as it did before, but it's no different really than it was last round, and Minnesota didn't pay it any mind, and outside of the 1 kill on the backside onto Altair, really didn't do all that much. So the nade comes out and is able to deny the Kaid claw, and the wall gets opened up this time by Uwu, and No nitro from Oof this time as well, or from Kane, whichever you want to call him. UCI is gonna start feeling the pressure this time from the attack once more.
No, you got a lot of pressure here. You got the Cade here looking to try to stop this maintenance wall open. You got the Zofia above site trying to peer in. This is the same attack as they had before. Let's see if UCI here can take that to their advantage here. Let's see if they can get the flanks here. But oh no, no flank is going to be coming out here as we see this Nomad here locking down the site there with the Muesli again playing in drug. Zofia peeking the angles above looking to get something. Allison on the Jaeger picks off here. Let's see if this Jaeger can come into more of a factor. Picked out that Jaeger. What a shot by Allison there on the stairs. Gets the flanks. That's an amazing play right there.
Oh no, indubitably, but it's going to be the rush on through for the M4s. He's going to be attempting to find more, but no more kills. It's going to be the reverse Uno card of the non-M590 wielding smoke. And it's now just poor Uwu stuck in this 1v4. His position is going to be known momentarily, so he's going to be trying to find the heads of the 4 potential assailants all surrounding him, all looking the exact same vicinity. Some pre-fire shots downrange, a little bit of a warning shot, but that's going to give away his location. He's going to be forced to dodge back and forth between this hallway. He has no idea who he wants to die from. It's going to be FMG9, though, that's going to punish him outright.
Well, this round does look a lot better for UCI. It turns out not getting picked off super early works out well for them, but it also just goes to show like these last second pushes can be anyone's game because we saw it on Clubhouse where a bunch of last second pushes didn't work and then a bunch of them did work for the attack side. And we're seeing it just now. 2 last second pushes in a row. One worked out fantastically for Minnesota and the other worked out really poorly for them, rather really well for UCI. So as we switch back now up to initiation office, uh interesting that this is the secondary site because a lot of teams have been shying away from it, but that's also, I know we mentioned it earlier that this is my favorite map. That's what I also really like about theme park is that all 4 sites are potentially viable, really.
No, all the sites on this map are viable, but the great thing about that is for the defenders, you need, or for I'm sorry, for the attackers. Uh, Minnesota here, they are singly pushing when they're going into army. They get into maintenance, and then they get the wall open, and then they freeze up. For a team, yes, you got to they got lucky in those late pushes there, but you got to be looking to push from multiple angles. You got to create that motion going from site to site to create those angles. Because then, even if you're doing those late second pushes, then the defenders are on their toes. They got to be looking left and right, trying to see where you're attacking from, and then they can't predict you. Versus what we saw there, as Minnesota rushed in, it was shooting fish in a barrel there. All Minnesota had to do was point at the breach, hold down left mouse button, and let it rain.
And honestly, as you're highlighting, the motion of the ocean is the most important thing when attacking over in a meme park. You have to keep that momentum going. You have to keep it moving in full strides for the time being. But it looks like it's going to be a cafe take. A lot of teams have shied away from going this with the more traditional cash side take all the way on the east side of the map. Now, most defending rosters need to be prepared for both types of attacks, and they need to be very fluid with how they're placing their deployable shields and be able to pick them up and relocate that depending on where the attacker's utility is going to be flying in from. But fortunately for UCI, they've read into this play brilliantly. It is going to be Oof's turn to stand his ground. His utility consumption simulator is going to hit him straight in the face. Flashbangs and frag grenades are going to land its targets. True. Shield Rat is going to name up to his name and shut down the rat behind the deployable shield.
Well, that's pretty rough for UCI that the Ella will fall so early on with not much expended in her wake. Hannah now also going to work their way trying to pressure out this top arcade area, but it's very interesting that they're still opting into this defensive style without a shield over there, without the Wamai being up, because a lot of the time Wamai is the reason you play that position. So that forward shield was quickly dealt with, but Minnesota doesn't have a lot to show for their troubles. And this, frankly, despite losing Kane, it's working out well for UCI here because the rotate was also walled off now. And Minnesota is in a tough spot. Also with a flank from Allison, able to find 2 huge frags, not a third though, as Ryder and the Ash of Scrubs are going to pair together. But you can see just from the blinking X's of the corpses, the Jaeger made their position well known.
Yes, he did. Big flank coming out from the Jaeger there. Again, Minnesota just pushing from one side. They wasted 2 minutes there. Now we are 30 seconds to go. And they don't, again, like you said, don't have much to save for it. And then again, yes, they got the Jaeger and they got the L of Kane there off the board. But still, we're pushing in Ash, looking into waiting, going to a charge. But we got a smoke and play here to try to stop this charge. As Scrubs looking to peek in, rushes in. Smoke gets one, no, gets fragged out. We so much action going across, and the defenders are able to stop the rush there from Minnesota. They're able to slow them down just barely, and we're able to pull out the win right there.
Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you run the M590, because it punishes anybody on the receiving end of it. And as everybody pushes through a solid breach, it's a free fatal funnel in favor of the defense as they shut that play on down. And that's going to be, well, 1 round closer to completing this entire endeavor. Round number 4, the defenders seem to have a pretty decent understanding of how to defend this map. And the attackers, they're doing all the right steps, but as Tango was highlighting, it was the fact that the attackers were just far too passive as soon as I got the opening kill. When you get your real estate control, make sure it's a fee simple estate, but you have to be able to put it in your trust and be able to continuously utilize it as an income property.
So I'm here. Don't worry. As let's see. Oh, we have a Clash. That's interesting. Clash is an operator that we don't see a ton as of late, just because a lot of the operators in this stall meta kind of beat her out, particularly Capitao and Zofia and the mass collective of frag grenades that often come out. So we don't really see her all that much. Plus, she doesn't really have a gun that is worth bringing. The SP SMG is very good, but it's not like, it's not like any gun that you're like, wow, I need to bring Clash to bring the SP SMG. But I know against like less coordinated teams in these sort of settings, Clash does pretty well. So I want to see what Wind is gonna do with the operator and where he's really gonna be playing her.
Dude, this Clash could be a game changer for UCI. Again, yes, they are ahead, but with UMN here doing late pushes every time here, this could be the easy just stopgap solution to make certain that UMN does not enter the site. Because again, they see the Clash there. Yes, they have Zofia on board to try to get her to open up and to stop her, but still, this could be a great operator to stop any of these pushes here. As we see the Ash looking to peek into control, trying to push into site here. They're testing the cache side here with all of their teammates. This could be a little rush here. I'm sorry, we got Scrubs below looking to clear out these people in initiation here, trying to eye up the smoke. Drones are coming in to clear out this smoke here. Let's see if this is going to be successful.
Stop, drop, and roll is how you fight against fires, but how do you fight against electricity? You can't stop, drop, and roll. I guess you could be on the ground rolling because electricity is flowing through your eyeballs, and that's always a factor. Again, like we were highlighting in map number 2, always charge your eyeballs. That's very important for the time being. What's also very important is the fact that the attackers of the entire east side of the map, they have plenty of avenues to push on through with. The problem is, they still have to deal with this Clash. They have frag grenades and explosive utility to boot, and there you go, stun her away, throw her shield away, get a free kill. The one-step shot to actually
Ooh.
pushing onto a clash.
Shield with a nice nade as well lands in the pocket of Kane for a second, but it's refragged right back. Allison from below and Shelly pushing aggressively as well. They're both going to find one apiece onto the double
Attackers have
entries of
located
the
a bomb.
Ashe and Zofia in return for the lives lost from the clash and the mute. With 25 seconds to go, though, things are looking rough for UMN. They don't really have the most positional control for a Bunk's attack with 15 seconds to go. Allison has a huge crossfire alongside with Hannah, and even though Shelly isn't in the best position, it doesn't really matter. Shelly's going to find one as Hannah has been down. The Thermite looking for a plant, but no! From the flank, or from the site, Shelly's able to pick up one, and that's the planter, actually. And I got muddled up on my words as I was focusing on one player while talking on another. Shelly, with a huge denial on the planter, is able to clutch up the round for UCI.
What an insane play by Chile right there. Able to sneak through the drones of the defense. I don't think they saw him coming up from either office or from yellow stairs right there. Able to sneak through, bobbing and weaving across the landscape there. Able to sneak through right just after the attackers take the site there. Able to sneak through, get eyes on the diffuser, get the down, and then more importantly, back out and be ready for that Ashe to re-swing onto him to try to get the kill there. What a great play by Chelly right there.
Well, Ying once again is going to rear her ugly head as she's going to be a factor in this series. Ying can deliver some very explosive results and flash everybody in the receiving end. We've now seen EU United, at least in stage number 1, when they're playing here on Theme Park. They really tried to hone in on the Ying. They are trying to break down Utility Consumption Simulator. They didn't want to participate in that meta one bit, so they thought they can bring an operator that is so darn oppressive that it's just going to shut down everybody in the receiving end. And the problem with that was the fact that, well, SSG was prepared for that. They're prepared for every type of endeavor that the attackers could throw. And, well, if UCI has done their due diligence this round, they can channel their inner Troy Canadian and be able to withstand Ying Candelas.
Trying to keep up with that whole thing, but I just couldn't. So, we're back down to Armory and Throne Room. Shelly is 11-1. This man has been feeling the FMG today and just running with it. Nitro's gonna land right on top of Fuwu, but at least the thermite charge went off on the wall. Catch this though, said Kane. And the frag that was needed came out for UCI, and working well for them so far.
Cade pulls out his best LeBron James impression, drops it from way downtown, the dagger strikes, but Uwu already did his job. He got the wall open. His task is complete for the game. He could go away and sit on drones and he would be perfect. But now again, now the attackers step back and redrone. An important thing, something that they were missing out before with their attacks. They would push in and they get stopped. Now they're redroning, seeing where they're pushing. We see the Ying all the way over by Drug, looking to contest that Malusi. Again, this defense has been doing the same strat over and over. This is great to see. UMN knows that they're down here. They are counter-stratting and working against him, against the enemy here, trying to see if they can find purchase. But Wind comes out, gets the pick on Ryder the Zofia, managed to clear the top floor, but we still have a Nomad up here. We have Allison looking for it, peeking through waiting, as Altair peeks through initiation. And now we will roll here as the Nomad is still trying to find this Malusi. This Malusi has been a thorn in the side of UMN for the entire game.
take a deep breath for both of these rosters and then prepare for your execute, but you're still going to have to deal with this offsite pressure, which is currently hanging out over in dorms and constantly punishing the 3 remaining attackers as they have no answer back whatsoever. They're still trying to push into these hard-held angles, but fortunately for the attackers, they have their own ace. That is going to be those Yin Candelas, which can light up the entire round, with a preset rotation might be huge for the defenders, and UCI is going to start to hunt all the way through. The SMG-9 is so close to landing through a kill through the wall, but where are these Candelas? They haven't gone off one bit yet. It's a denial strategy for the time being, and there's the answer back to the attackers, but no one expects the Spanish Inquisition or the German Inquisition, as Allison's going to walk her way down the back stairs and walk her way into a gunfight, delivering some free kills, and finally the all that cleans up the final round of 5.
Well, UCI really showing off that theme park, or at least the defender heaven that theme park used to be. It's kind of shifted as teams played it a bit more in higher levels, but we aren't at that higher level, and it's not surprising that theme park is so defender sided. It's so, frankly, I can understand it. It's very unbearable to attack. I know a lot of teams have considered it to be room clear simulator because there's very few hallways, especially on the upstairs. It is just room connected to room connected to room, and not many teams like that. But regardless, it's seeming to be a bit of a struggle for Minnesota. They're not getting a lot of adequate pressure on on the upstairs or everywhere else, and it's definitely not working out too well for them. So hopefully they can try and bring it back in this round, make it a standard 4-2 half. But if I'm remembering correctly, that's a suppressor on the Scorpion. I see that. That's awful. Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, they did not win this attack on this site. Oh yeah, it was only thrown.
Yep, no, the attackers, they're only won their thrown site. The defenders have won everything else here, as we are 4-1 with round 6, with the last defender round being played before you by UCI. But again, find that purchase. UMN has not been able, like you said, to find that purchase, find that grass. They can push and open up sites, but they just don't have that last bit of measure in order to get them over the edge here. But let's see if they can change it up on this cafe push here. We see potentially a brand new strategy coming out. We got the Maverick over there, potentially going to go repel onto break there, put a little bit of pressure on the sides here to try to keep everyone happy. As you see, Oof of Kane here, locked in on Cafe, not going to let a single attacker push through and stop and attack the site.
Were you referring to it as a purchase? My boomer brain doesn't know what that word means. Can you describe that to me, since I'm a boomer?
Oh, find purchase. You gotta grab it by the horns and go crazy with it. So they're trying to see if they can take this match and give it a new one right here, trying to push through the site here.
So back in the day, us kids called it securing the bag. So I guess we've changed up our colloquialisms, at least temporarily. And Ella is going to be forced to rotate away. Her deployable shield over by Cafe will be no more. And she is representing that skin all the way back from year 1, season 4. Actually, technically would be 0 year. Season 4. Nevertheless, there's a 4th season Rainbow Six Siege competitive. Such a beautiful screen. It's nice to see that in a factor, as Shield Rat Strategy is going to be doing some very interesting artwork over here on this wall. It's all to set up frag grenades to go down range. Not sure if that was the best use of his torch, but nonetheless, obviously attackers saw something they're trying to capitalize, and that's going to be another capitalization as the R4C is going to find a kill in this round, attempting to locate the player. That's going to be, ooh, shots exchange, shots whizzing around. Poor Scorpion, Evo wielder of oof, but at time being, nobody's actually succeeding in that exchange.
The wall is going to start to get opened up here and bunked by the opening next to it, so it's a little looking rough for UCI until that Nitro lands through the breach from Wind, taking down Scrubs. Shield's gonna try and go for a quick peek, but not able to find anything as the Scorpion might reign true now, but tickling the Maverick is that little gun, as now the Ella's gonna get some retribution back. U's trying to find what they can and missing all the shots onto Kane here, struggling to find any purchases. It's 1-for-1. Altair and Wind, as now Allison will find Uwu, but right back, Ryder finds Shelly. As the plant is going to start to come down, but Ryder has been down on the other side of the wall. No! It is Allison for 4 on the round, able to clutch it up big time for UCI, as the Maverick was very close on the plant, and Allison was postured for that regardless of the Maestro or the Maverick pushing. It's interesting that the Maverick didn't just stick the plant and try and take the opposite gunfight.
Oh, I questioned that there too. That I wasn't checking the timer there, but it looked like he only had less than a second on the plant there. Sticks the Maverick down. If he sticks that defuse down there, he's in a far stronger spot because he saw the Zofia get picked by control there. Instead, blindly rushes with his pistol, trying to get that kill there. I question that there. And again, I also question that placement of that Zofia, standing in the middle of sight, trying to body all of the angles. Got to be looking in your post-plant scenarios, especially when we're with 5 seconds left. You got to be looking to lock down those angles to make certain you get that plant down. You can't be exposing yourself to the defenders there, or a Jaeger like Allison could just step right up onto you and dominate you.
Well, that could be the macro strategy, but the big play right now is how UCI is going to fare on their attacking side at half. They looked very strong on defense, but that could have also been the macro meta facing off against them, utilizing the time and the clock as best as possible. It's really been kind of a 3-man show in this lobby, at least for the time being here on the 3rd map. But will that continue to move on through? When you're going for attacking executes, it is absolutely imperative that you're firing at all 5 cylinders, because the moment one of those cylinders stops firing because you're no longer dropping fuel, oh my lord, hello Allison and goodbye Allison, and it's Allison gets shut down from a spawn peak. We're talking about UCI needing to do good on attacking executes. Well, that's not the opening kill if they wanted to have in their favor.
Yeah, at least yeah, that is very rough actually, as I completely forgot that what Goyo does as an operator is he stands in for a second shield. So the 2-for-1 special from the Goyo, losing the Ash is very rough, especially considering that this time through Shelly is not on the Zofia. They just have the frag grenades from Wind and from Shelly to deny these Goyo shields, as I'm combining words at this stage of the night. 2:30 a.m. brain is just not existent at this point, so we'll be seeing what it's a very different hold from UNM to what UCI did. UCI was very focused horizontally, but UNM is more vertical this time, and well, Wind is gonna start things off by evening out the frags onto Shield, who has been very hot this map.
No, big frag right there onto Shield as it gets traded off by Allison going down. But Scrub, again, going after below. Comes out of vault there. Where's the drones here? How can we let this Jaeger still in play? Nomad looking to try to refind the frag here. Body blocks it, got his friend there. Kane manages to frag the Jaeger out right there, and then now we are left with 2 on site, and I'm trying to find where our other 3rd guy is. Oh, everyone's on site. So now UCI has taken care of all of the roamers, but now they're looking to get their setups here as they're trying to get Yellow Wall opened up. Maverick getting it open. They still got the Thermite in play to make the big walls be able to flush into sight here. But the big thing here, we still got Legion the Mute here, sitting behind the pillar. Nitro cell in ready to eat it across. Goes out. Not able to find purchase, but not as much as he would have hoped. Maverick follows up with the frag of his own, trying to get this Mute out of position here as we're 20 seconds left to go. The setup getting ready. Kane looking to get the pinch push here, trying to clear out these 3 people left on site, 2 on the fireplace side, 1 throne side. As Altair ready for the push. Shots come out from the Maverick. 7 seconds left. We're getting ready, folks. 1 comes in. Altair gets the second. Gets the second here. What a frag. Nomad, last person alive, does not able to push into sight, and Maroon manages to pull out the defense when everything was looking bleak.
Well, the attackers, they started off on the very wrong foot, getting spawn peaked almost instantaneously. And as Cherish was highlighting earlier, as well as Tango, the fact that this bomb site becomes completely defender-sided. And as the production is whispering quietly in our ear, things are going to get even more defender-sided, assuming the attackers aren't able to change up the strategies they're running, because you cannot get spawn peak from any position like that, especially as your most important player. Allison has been unstoppable, slamming anything on the receiving ends of her reticle, and right now, no factor in round number 7, hopefully actually allowed to leave her spot in round number 8.
Well,
Attackers
we're
need to
headed
locate and
on
defuse bombs.
up to Initiation Office once again. And interestingly, we've got just some wild operators coming out. We've got an Ella, an Alibi, and a Castle brought out by
Bomb
Minnesota
located by
here.
attackers.
And the Castle's not super surprising. It one way it is, in one way it isn't. Just because not a lot of teams have been doing this strat anymore, but it was an older strat when Theme Park was first being played. Oh, this poor Castle. He has to do everything over here. He has to set up 3 barricades across the doors
Attackers are moving
and
to
then
defuse the bomb.
reinforced walls as well. Poor guy. But this is an older strat where everyone does the opposite version for bunks, where they extend into Initiation Office, they create rotates, and they put up these very same castle walls. But when Theme Park was first starting out, when no one had a defense really for Initiation Office, they did the same exact thing, and then just basically you got to attack the same defense 4 times in a row if you were going both Initiation Bunk Initiation Office and then Bunk Daycare. So we'll see how Minnesota wants to move around this one, because they've got a couple interesting pieces in the Ella and the Alibi.
You know what? If a strat isn't broke, don't fix it. That's the beautiful thing here. If it works, it's perfect for your team here. We see the teams. We see UCI on drones here. 3 drones, 4 drones, just clearing out the site, trying to prod and feel where can they push in. We see Nomad and Maverick setting up to take into Cafe there, trying to get ready. But we see the Sledge here coming up yellow. Got the calls in. Sees that there could be some less opening space here, trying to push in. Now they're going to have to fight this deployable shield here, but that Jaeger, or certainly this Ash Charge here, is going to be able to take down the shield here with the Jaeger that is sitting beside it. We see the Maverick pushing down Arcade Hall, looking for it. We see the shield. Ash trying to attack the Jaeger on the shield here, manages to get the Ash Charge with the ADS. Man, what a shot there from Shield there. Stops the Ash in their tracks as all the attackers go around, but Scrubs is down as a to battle back here by Wind with the nades. Jaeger swinging on the Arcade Hall. Maverick looking in tow, but whoa, what a nade there by Chelly there. Drops it from way downtown, trying to stop the push here. Alibi trying to quench this Arcade push here. Manages to find the Nomad of Cade here, looking for one more. Maverick trying to see if he can get this Alibi out here, but no, misses the shots. More shots go out, and the Maverick is able to get the kill. 3v3, 30 seconds left.
what happens when you leave Wamai unban or ban him outright, because whammy bammy makes everything go kaplammy. That is how these frag grenades are gonna find their targets perfectly. But for the time being, it is a 6-man lobby that's gonna be on the attackers to push on through, and they will do exactly that, but push on to their own demise. While that demise may only be temporary, the bomb is surrendered completely on an island. They need to have a strategy to set this up. Bomb's going on the deck. There's no answer back whatsoever other than Ella getting a kill. It's a surefire round. As soon as they find the diffuser, they will be. Round number 8, once again going to the defenders, and lo and behold, Theme Park rolling in favor of the defenders.
Well, once more, we will see a defender win because the attack does not appropriately cover themselves and is not able to play the plant and play post-plant in such a manner safely. So, we'll see almost in exactly the same lineup, just Uwu on the Legion. Is he going to swap to Castle? It's looking like it. He's not locked in the Legion yet. No, I think he's... All right. I think he's going to stick to it then. All right. So, not the copy-pasted exact same strat as before. Feels good to say and to see.
Defenders, protect your bombs
So,
from being defused by attackers.
I'm interested, to say the least. I know a lot of teams... This is very interesting, at least, to see the daycare wall fully reinforced by Minnesota. A lot of teams have stopped doing that as of late and instead been playing sight lines and a shield in some of these positions just because it's very safe to play like a bunk's shield and very adequately deny cafe. So we'll be seeing
5 seconds left.
what Minnesota wants to do because they're very much reinforcing themselves in here and not giving themselves a whole lot of wiggle room, frankly.
No, they are not. But the thing about if you're going to do a daycare reinforcement, you have to have people playing at yellow stairs there to put a little bit of pressure on those people pushing from cafe. But they're not doing that. They got everyone on site here. They are not roaming below. And again, last round, that is what UCI capitalized on. They were able to rush up yellow stairs, also pushing through cafe, and they were able to flood the site. Yes, the defenders were able to pull it out in the end there, but that's still inexcusable. As we see here still, UCI droning below, noticing there's no one there. We got the Jaeger roaming in office there. That is the only roamer for this defense.
Temporarily, at least, because there's more roamers that could be droning upstairs and joining his compadre, and there they are, at least temporarily, the 4 offsite anchors. But that's the thing, the world is their oyster. They can make this strategy into anything they want. It can turn into a unicorn if that's how they want to play this bomb site. And sometimes you need that unicorn of a round, but the unicorn of a round tends to be more in favor of the attackers. That is going to be UCI. The problem is they have hardly any real estate to their name. They own a little bit of the east side of the map, but remember the bomb site's completely all the way over to the west, so they're gonna have to do their due diligence with these drones, confirming the locations of the defenders or confirming there's no defenders looming anywhere near the east, and continuously walk their way closer to this objective. They have plenty of hard breach for any of utility to make this successful. The only thing they have to be very concerned about is time. The foothold angle is going to be a perfect kill for Wind. That's the opening duel they needed, and it's soon going to be a bigger hole to be made.
Yep. Slowly working forward is UCI trying to burn out shields where they can. And ADS will eat up that Ash charge because there was nothing denying that shield at the least. Hopefully someone can take out that ADS at this point so the shield can go away. But speaking of a shield, it is the Jaeger of shield here, playing aggressively in cafe, not totally aware Allison's here, but now he is. And no, Allison does shoulder peek, but not aware the shield was sitting on the angle. 4-4 now goes the way of the operator count. As Uwu almost able to take down Hannah, not enough though, as Ryder is now next on the chopping block. 5 seconds to go. The plant has to come down, and it's just not. Planter is killed, as now again the Jaeger's going to swing out and look for what he can, but it's just him. His shield is going to go huge and find 4 on the round, bringing us to 5-4 as a flawless rotation comes out from the side of Minnesota, doing work here as back-to-back rounds, or rather, I think back-to-back. No, it's not. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying at that point. Defenders are just going huge on round after round here, and able to lock these ones down.
No, dude, Shield just pulled that around out of nowhere there. It looked like the attack of UCI was stalling out as he was as they were pushing in. They got the wall open, but they burned 50 seconds there as they were getting in. But no, they managed to push through. They got their frags. They got the plant down, but Shield locked in on that Whitehall angle, manages to get the frags, gets the 4K on the round to keep them in this game and keep UMN locked in. It is 5-4 now. UMN has attacked on a couple rounds here to get this game a lot closer than looked like at the start.
A little bit closer to the end goal, and that is going to be winning out this series. UCI has had moments of brilliance on attack, but it just completely slips through their fingertips because they're making their mistakes too telegraphed. They're showing their hand. They're trying to hold W too much. They're trying to hold shift W too much. And remember, when you're Ash peeking up yellow stairs, try to be as quiet as possible. Even alt walking up the stairs would be a better decision, because the moment you start to shift W sprint, that's televising yourself to every single defender that, hey, I'm over here and I'm going to be a free target because I'm not going to be able to shoot back for at least 3 seconds. And well, that's how 4Ks start to mount in favor of 416 carbines. But once again, the attackers are going to be relinquished from their spawns. UCI needs to make a change. They need to make this change ASAP, because we're about to tie it up at round number 10 if this momentum continues to go in favor of the defenders.
So, Allison almost got spawn peaked there, as Scrubs just wants to snag as many rounds as they can, tagging up the Ash to just under 25, in fact. Allison has not had the same impact on this attacking half as they had on the defense. They had 10 frags through the first 6 rounds and have not had a single one in this half. On the other side of things, too, Chili came into this half at 11 and is now at 15, so going pretty big here this matchup. Same thing with Shield, though. While Scrubs was big on the first 2 maps, Shield has been picking up the slack on this one and really one-manning it. So, despite that, though, UCI's attack on this clear upstairs is very, very slow. And the thing is, there's no one from Minnesota playing upstairs.
Nope, we got as they're pushing in to try to clear down this and execute on this throne side here. We have the Jaeger, not droned, sitting in Gong. This could be a big play here if he manages to go back to his drone hole, trying to find purchase. He's looking, he's thinking, he's smelling something. He can see something, finds one. Can he find 1 or 2 more there that are sitting there? Thermite still gets the wall open, even though he loses his friend there. Jaeger still trying to peek on this Thermite here, trying to move around, trying to find a Nomad, looking to try to get this Jaeger out. Manages to find the Jaeger of Scrubs as Kane manages to equalize the round here. But again, we're getting the pushes. Cade finds the purchase on Wind. That's the sledge. Could be from above here, but we got to clear out this Goyo as Allison and Shield engage, going from Drug to bottom arcade here. But Allison not entertained by him, looking to push. Now the attackers working to push through yellow stairs here. 16 seconds left. Frags go down. Cade, what a kill. Triple kill on Uwu right there. Finishing the round and equalizing it at 5-5. What a round right there, boys.
Well, that's how you deliver it. You just pray to Lord Tachanka, say uwu, spin around 360 degrees, and start to click heads. And this round was sitting at a 5-1 advantage. And now we're all tied up in round number 11. This will be the penultimate round before we go into overtime. One of these two rosters will guarantee themselves match point, series point at the end of this round. Will it be the attackers? Will it be the defenders? Only Lord Tachanka knows at this point, and we're gonna have to deliver that self in 3 minutes.
Well, it seems like not seems, it is true that every map
Defenders,
tonight
protect your bombs
has,
from being
for
defused
these
by
two teams,
attackers.
has gone the full 12 rounds at the least. And it's plausible this one ends in 12. UCI has not managed to find a foothold on any of these rounds. They only came close on a one, was I think only one, where it came down to a clutch up by Shield, but it's not that UCI is not performing poorly at all. It just happens that they're, I don't
5
know,
seconds left before
the
insertion.
clutch factor from Minnesota is just coming out in full effect, and they're really making it happen big time here for themselves. So I'm interested to see how UCI wants to pull this one out, if they can try and just find that single round that they need. Because it's possible that, you know, the very first round of this map, that single attacking round that has been won out of the 10 rounds so far, that round could be like the deciding factor.
No, the defenders here been getting some luck as as I think the bomb's been either planting or getting ready to be planted, and the defenders have won that either 2 out of 2 or 3 out of 3 times there, getting UMN back into this game here. But as we see here, Cafe push, Nomad Maverick peeking through, looking to clear the site. Drones have seen that the Jaeger is sitting in bunks. That's your only
A
roamer.
bomb has been
Ashes
located.
below peeking, but we still have Scrubs here trying to get a little bit crazy with the attackers here. Not a common spot here. You see the drone miss drone Scrubs here. If Scrubs swings towards Spiral or looks to try to go to a barrel to get this Ash, that could be an impact frag here that could change the game.
But who will open up this round? Who will be the first casualty right now? Everybody swimming circles around each other. Try not to be the first lethal death in this round. Well, Shield's gonna punish a drone, say, no more time for you to walk your way up here. You're gonna have to face check me if you want this information for the remaining of the round, as he's continuously hunting out these drones. More and more drone economy continues to fall, not in favor of UCI, as the members of them are going to start to sprint their way through the attic over here, and more of them are going to continue to fall through, but somehow the 556 XI is going to win that exchange, and once again, we're back over to equal man count, but as I say that, I cast or curse myself into oblivion. Once again, the defender's in a strong advantage.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
So, the first two frags come out from Shield doing work there. He's able to pick up Allison and Hannah alongside his teammates. But now Scrubs is looking for a little more on this aggression, as Ryder is also going to tag up Kane, taking down the Breacher. Wind is going to get a refrag at the least, but running through the hologram, the Maverick is going to tag himself up, as now Shelly's going for the plant. They see that Wind is denying from the set side, but a nice nitro from Ryder is going to deny the planter, and the Sledge also taken out. That makes that 6-5 now. That is 5 rounds in a row from Minnesota here. UCI gets their first plant on their attacks at the least, but they are still not able to find a single foothold on these attacks, and that could be it for the match, frankly.
Well, it's starting to look that way, as I think we just broke the entire rhythm for this entire cast. I think I was supposed to go behind Dago, but at this point, I think at least all three of my brain cells have completely been fried. And the bad part was I put some potatoes in the oven before this cast started, all the way at 4 o'clock, and here we are at midnight. So I think my potatoes have kind of died, just like my brain cells. So to return this back to the order, I'm going to be passing it off to Tango, and I guess I'll be taking up after him.
Oh no, dude. There's been a lot of stuff that has gone on tonight, but no, this is getting fun. We are at round 12. This could be it. UMN gets the if they get the round win here, they go on to the round of 8. If manages to pull out the win here, we get overtime. It gets exciting, folks. This could be one of the most impactful rounds of the game here, and we see the default bunk and daycare setup here. Last time we saw a castle played on this site. Not today. They've brought out all the fraggers. They brought out the alibi. They brought out the Ella, the Jaeger, the mute. I'll consider a mute a fragger. He got that 1.5 site, and they got the Cade. Just lock down the support to make certain that UCI does not open the walls there. Because yes, they've been bringing that Maverick and that Thermite there, but they're looking to try to stop this. I want to see UMN here go out of their comfort zone. Look to engage the attackers before they get to site. Look to lock down initiation and control an office there, trying to slow them down here, because that could finish this game a lot faster than if they let them get set up and then we get into the 20-second rush meta where it could be anyone's game here.
Yeah, like you said, I like that mutes have started bringing the MP5 more, just because it has the 1.5 now. It's not totally necessary that he has to be a shotgun bot. It is a little rough for UMN that they would have to then use a nitro to make rotates, but it is what it is, I guess, because Ryder prefers that SMG, and I know a lot of players, at least, are not fully fond of the SMG-11 being their only weapon. So for right now, UCI is slowly working their way into opposite side control, as Shield might find the opener here. He's not going to land it just yet, but now he does. Shield will strike for 15th on the map so far, and that might be it, frankly, for UCI, being down their fragger once again. I think Allison has not had a single frag in this half.
Yeah, just too strong on defense. You're highlighting this before, and even before you went live, you were calling the 7-5 split. One of these teams will get an absolute flawless landslide delivery on defense, and it looks like the Californians will not be the ones participating in that endeavor, as they're currently a man down with 60 seconds on the clock. They're still trying to open up these hard walls. Frag grenades have found their target, but instantaneously re-electrified by Kai. There is no follow-up whatsoever until that second grenade lands only 10 seconds down the road. That is a lot of time wasted, and we've seen the attacking lineup of California struggle in this endeavor. They have been unable to push through these fatal funnels. They're going to find a kill that has one part of your checklist taken off, but the majority of your drone economy instantaneously sacrificed for no information is going to be a huge blunder on through, and Uwu is going to make that even harder.
30 seconds left. 3v4. UCI's season is on the line here. So we're set up here. UCI finds the first pick. Altiara frags it back with the Ella there. Pushes into sight. Pushes into sight. We have Sledge over by Yellow Stairs. Fakes out the alibi. They know where one is. They should know where the second is. Get the diffuser. This could be it. Defenders win. UMN manages to clutch the round out there. GG's go into chat as UMN locks in their spot to the round of 8, beating UCI 7-5 on Theme Park here to get the 2-1 win on the series.
Here we go. The grinder of a series has come to a close. It took 3 maps and 8 hours this evening across 2 series. But we've survived. We have made it to the conclusion. I can see the light above us. Cherish, my friend. Thank you for joining me on this endeavor.
Yeah. When I got a text at like 4 or 5 or something today, I was not expecting come cast at 9:30. I was not told, "Hey, cast until 3 a.m. with me over 3 extensively long maps." But I wouldn't have it any other way. I was very fond of this one. So, with that being said, uh, is
Can I
that
go to bed yet?
I think
Where
that's
we're
it.
not. There's no interview.
There's
We can go to bed.
yeah. We
Oh,
are
fuck.
not
Good night, everyone. Sleep
because of how
well.
late
Stay
it
safe.
is.
Stay
Good
well.
night.
Good night,
Oh.
Tango. Thanks for stepping in. The entire production crew, Max, CD. Oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you all day. But much love. Good night.
Good night.